Hello and welcome to the Inbetween podcast. I'm the usual host, Chisco, and I'm joined here by Tony Tanzanati. How are you, Tony?
Hello, I'm doing good. The birds are also doing good. I
Right.
don't know how you feel about that, but they're in the podcast regardless, so
hmm
they're here to stay.
We haven't heard any birds yet, but I will let you know when we do.
Yeah, well,
Keen
they've been
bird
kind
watchers
of
will be
quiet.
able to
Yeah,
able
you
to.
guys know exactly what birds outside my. They're not even outside my window. They're just like in the garden. They're just ridiculously loud. They're not that close at all.
We had some feedback on the podcast that I was too quiet
Yeah,
and Tony was too loud. So thanks to a new OBS update, I should be louder, clearer, and Tony should be quieter. Tony is rightfully be
unless
turned down. Thank God.
unless AC noise.
No, the AC's not on, so.
But
But
if
yeah.
it were on, less AC noise.
Yeah. If I have the AC on, it
Because
makes me a bit like harder to hear.
I feel like it's already warm now, and I think it's only gonna get warmer. Like not consistently, but like average, like as an average. Like I feel like it's just gonna get warmer and warmer as we get into the more summer months.
hmm But anyway, shall we jump into trade? Basically, it's going to be non-stop news this entire podcast, and
Yeah,
then E3 next podcast is going to be the
we got like
entire thing.
pre-E3 at the moment. It's still ridiculous. So
Yeah, like the E3 2021 recap website is up. I'll pull it up on stream. And there's already been like a Guerrilla Games collective that I watched some of yesterday. So I've looked at some of these and I'm like, oh, this one's interesting. I've seen this one sort of thing. So
yeah,
that'll probably be on the E3 docket. I'll talk about some of those, but it's gonna be like a trailer watching show. Like there's nothing I can do about it other than we're just gonna watch a bunch of trailers because there's so many cool games to talk about during E3. So I will try and cut it down to the really
interesting
big
ones.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I love looking at lots of games. So we'll see because I'm notoriously say this is going to be short, and then I get too interested talking about something that's very
it's
long.
not gonna be short.
There's
TLDR.
no way. Okay, let's go into trailers.
Yeah.
Trailer one, I Am Fish. Oh, Fish Out trailer. Um, I thought this would be a fun one to talk about. You know that scene in Finding Nemo where he's in like the plastic bag and he's trying to get back into the ocean from the
Oh,
doctor's office?
yeah,
It's that
yeah.
it's that scene, the game. That's like
Is
I
it a
guess
puzzle game? Okay, no, but sort of.
I guess kind of like a platformer, maybe
Yeah,
like a 3D platformer, maybe. But it's like the whole idea is that you're a fish trying to get back to water and each different fish has different abilities. I thought it looked like a fun little game, and I believe it's was announced through Xbox, so maybe it's coming to Games Fest. I thought the idea there was like a piranha flooding the room, was pretty interesting. And there's a fly
oh,
fish as well to like
interesting.
move around more. So does it? There is some like puzzle elements where you need to like do things around the
It's
room
like
to
the
like.
like the raising water element or like lowering of water elements in like other games, but on its head because you are the fish.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that stuff. It just says coming to Xbox in summer 2021, so
Yeah.
sometime soon maybe. So maybe it'll be on Games Pass. We'll have to see. The Dark Anthology picture, the Dark Pictures Anthology, House of Ashes has got gameplay reveal. I don't know how much you followed the Dark Pictures, but basically, if you don't know, they did Until Dawn for the PlayStation 4, which was very popular. Very like choose your own adventure, like sort of horror game. It was very popular. It was like a PS4 exclusive, and then they made the Dark Pictures Anthology, which came to PC. They did a couple of those, but they got like mixed reviews. But it's like interesting to see like they have put out some like really high. They have put out a really high quality game like Until Dawn, and then interesting to see what else they've put out. Like I think it was the Man of Medan was one they put out, and then I think there was one called Little Hope as well.
Right, okay.
But this is their next one, so we'll have to see
I'm just
how
a
this
bit
one turns
confused
out.
by this whole thing, to be honest, as someone who's not following this.
Yeah, I mean,
What's going on here? I don't get it.
It's kind of like you're kind of like watching a movie sort of thing, but then it's like you make choices. I guess the best way to describe it is kind of like an FMV game. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't. Have you ever seen Until Dawn?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like that where the idea is it's an interesting like horror story where you can make your own choices sort of thing. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I just find them a little bit weird. Like I feel like I'd like to have a little bit more control, I guess, but
mm.
I don't know.
I guess
I
I
guess
don't know if you
it's
have
not
more
for me, but I
control in
can
this
watch
one.
it.
Yeah, I feel like it's something you could definitely watch rather than play, sort of thing. I guess that maybe
Yeah,
why Until Dawn was so popular was people like did Let's Plays and stuff of it, and it got very popular on YouTube and Twitch and stuff.
yeah,
But I'll be interested to see how this one turns out. No Man's Sky Prism. No Man's Sky's Caves and Cliffs update. Here we go.
yeah.
So of
Where did they get that
course
idea from?
they're updating all of the cave biomes. DLSS screen space reflections has been added. Volumetric lighting. Another cool thing, you can tame creatures and ride them in this update as well. Improved rain effects. So basically, the main things of the updates are increased beauty in like the game world, better performance with DLSS, and then the ability to tame and ride creatures, which is pretty cool. I
Yeah.
recently got No Man's Sky. I'm somebody who a friend pre-ordered No Man's Sky for me because he thought it had multiplayer in the beginning, and then I refunded
Uh,
it for him, and I was like, I
because it doesn't or didn't at the time.
because the
Yeah.
game was like pretty bland and boring and didn't have
Yeah.
multiplayer in the beginning. But like I've covered most of the No Man's Skies update, and I feel like it's got to a point where I actually want to play the game again, and it was on sale
Yeah,
again, and
I
also
still look at this how you start the game. And, like I wish the start was more interesting, but
the
like
bit.
everything after that
The
looks
bit, the
really
big,
interesting.
actually the big reason I got it was because I love VR games and I really want to play No
Hmm.
Man's Sky VR. So yeah,
Yeah, I've actually
you've played
tried
it
a
on
little bit of No Man's
PSVR,
Sky.
right?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Mm. I'd be
And
really interested to
luckily, I
try it
was
on the
playing it on my
VR.
friend's account who's not had to do the beginning, so I didn't have to do that annoyance.
Right.
That is my biggest criticism of the game. Is the intro is awful,
Does
and
No
I
Man's
still
Sky
think they
have
haven't changed it.
mods? It must do,
I
right? No
don't know.
Man's
Might
Sky
do.
Nexus. This is probably the easiest way to find out. It has a
I don't
Nexus.
think they've.
It has a Nexus page.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever released like an API or anything, or like any tools. But
Uh,
yeah,
it got
I don't. I
four.
guess you can't connect to the servers with it. I don't know how that works. 'Cause I don't
It's
understand.
got
Like
four
it's
mods
not
today. It
dedicated.
had 11 mods this week.
Right.
Let's have a look. There's quite a few mods for it.
Okay.
On at least on Nexus mods. I don't know if they have a. I don't think they have like a dedicated like modding thing for it, but maybe if you have a look on here, there's some way to improve the early game. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to look
I would
into.
like that. I would like to update that. Like I kind of just want like I don't know. Maybe I just need to give it another chance and just see if I get along with it. Because I may
Mm.
have been like the wrong state of mind.
Crisis Remastered, Tony. I know what you said. You saw Crisis Remastered and you said, I want more. Well, guess what? Crisis
There's more.
Remastered Trilogy is coming.
Yeah.
You will
See,
get to play
I'm not
the
surprised. It's
original.
the current trend.
Yeah, remaster all the games. To be honest, I don't mind them remastering games.
No, I don't. I don't mind them. Okay. I'm gonna be annoyed in about 10 years' time because they're gonna remaster these things again. I'm not talking about Crisis here. I'm talking about other games.
Because, like,
Like
as
I feel
someone.
like we're going the film way. We just keep remastering the same things every like 15
Yeah,
years.
because it's someone who's like. I literally played through the Spyro Remaster trilogy, and that thing is amazing. And I'm someone who never got to experience the original Spyro
Yeah,
because I never played as a kid, and then being able to play like, being able to experience the amazing games, but made for
and
now has been amazing.
I don't think it's the same problem as it's for films where like it takes away development time from like new stuff. I think there's
Mm.
just so many video game development studios that we can
Well,
get
usually
away
what
with
you do
it.
is when you want to remaster a game, you don't get the original devs who are working on something else. You get
No,
someone
exactly.
else. So
Yeah,
the
and you
pe-
have the original code to like, do something with as
Yep.
well.
So this is Saber Interactive, who did the
Yeah.
first game remaster as well. And if you notice, we've talked about Saber Interactive before. They did the Witcher 3 Switch port, and they're doing the next gen upgrade for the Witcher 3. Um, and they've also, because they've also remastered other stuff. They worked a lot on the Halo Master Chief Collection. Famously, they did like World War Z, the great zombie
Oh right,
game
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
it's the zombie game where you have like a million zombies. That's like its big strength sort of thing. It seems like so based off the trailer. I don't know if they've confirmed it or not, but it seems like because I've never played Crisis, so this is basically what I've read. Crisis Warhead, which was like a side story, which was included for the um, I think it may have been for the original game, which included new weapons, enemies, and content along with multiplayer bonuses. It was not included in the original remaster, and it seems like it might not be coming to this Crisis Remastered as well. So
Okay.
we'll have to see if we get any more word on that. Yeah, that's something to keep in mind if you're a big Warhead fan and you're like, I wanted to play that in the remastered trilogy. Um,
Yeah, okay.
so yeah, I remember that the original, the Crisis remaster that came out recently. It wasn't it like
Last year,
massive.
right?
It was like massively CPU bound,
Yeah, that
and but they had the software based ray tracing was like pretty interesting that they managed to. We talked about it, right? It was like the Crytek evolution of Svogi, the specular
yes.
volumetric octree global illumination, I believe, but don't quote me on that. Um,
Yeah, I can't. Only vaguely remember the technology they showed off. I don't really remember
But
anymore.
it'd
It's
be
like yeah, it was like a year
it's
ago
always
now.
interesting to see like I wonder if I don't actually know if they're going to carry on with the software based ray tracing. I guess if they got it running on the first game, it'd probably not be too hard to get it running in the other games as well. So
Yeah,
be interesting to
because
see
yeah,
that.
if it's been implemented engine wide, I
hmm
don't see why not. But I don't know how they've remastered the
Next
original
up, we
game.
have the big Dead by Daylight update. We talked about this previously. We saw a teaser where a Dead by Daylight announcement. There was an umbrella logo in in a teaser for the anniversary of Dead by Daylight, and it's
Right.
true. We're officially getting the Resident Evil chapter for Dead by Daylight, which is huge, huge for the game. Two of my big big time favorite like horror games coming together. So this is going to be really cool. And my prediction, I think I believe I said, I don't know if I said this podcast, but I said if they're picking up a survivor, it would have to be Leon. There's no way they couldn't have Leon
Yeah.
as a survivor. And then I think I don't know if I said in this podcast, but I said I thought the shark from Resident Evil 6, he was going to be the killer,
I
but
think you did say that. I was like, surely this is going to be the
well,
nemesis.
the thing is, I didn't. So I didn't expect Resident Evil to ever come to a Dead by Daylight chapter because they already had their like game
Horror
that was
game.
bundled with Resident Evil
Yeah.
2 or 3, was it? No, it was bundled with 3, right? It was basically a DVD clone that
Yes.
was like kind of panned by critics and players and people who have eyeballs, and it just wasn't very
Yeah.
good.
I think people without eyeballs could know it was bad. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
probably.
honest with
I
you.
mean, I played it and it was just like they kind of like they bundled it together with Resident Evil 3 and then they like hid the store page. But I assume like because when you see like developers making their own Dead by Daylight, you're like, okay, this character's never coming to the official horror,
Yeah, but yeah,
asymmetric
Capcom haven't been
horror game.
absolute assholes recently. Like they've been pretty good. So
Mm. But it's like
I don't know.
after saying because like I have like I get like PTSD after seeing like all the stuff that happened with Jason and the Friday the 13th game where they made
Yeah,
their own game and then the copyright holders were like, no, you can't use this copyright anymore. You can't update the game. He's stuck in like
yeah.
update hell.
That's kind of thing that yeah. If I was, I realize this is more complicated than that. But
Mm.
like you kind of when you're doing a contract to make a game like that, you want to make sure that the license lasts a lot longer than what they
So
got it
Leon and
for.
Jill are survivors. I don't know if they're. I believe Leon can summon a flashbang, is like his core unique perk, and then Jill. I don't know. She's a sandwich. I don't have time to go into.
She's a sandwich.
She's a Jill sandwich.
What?
It's a Resident Evil reference. The new map looks sick.
Does
So
it?
the Raccoon City Police Department map. If they basically they did massive graphical updates on the game, like updating all the maps, and like we had to get all like the graphical updates done so we could release this map. I don't know if you're watching the video, but it looks
Yeah.
really
I,
cool.
I'm
Um,
watching.
like it looks exactly like the remasters of 2 and 3. That they were like, if you've played the remastered 2 and 3, you will actually like be able to figure out where you are and like know your way around the map, sort of thing. Of course, with some additional tweaks for like gameplay and some surprises along the way. Um, they, yeah, because from what I watched the announcement video for their anniversary, and it seemed like they kept saying, "Oh, we had to choose Leon, and we had to choose Jill, and we had to choose Nemesis," because it seems like Capcom kind of said, "Hey, pick some characters from Resident Evil, and you get to choose who you put in Dead by Daylight." So it seems like this was kind of their choice, which I think is a very
Oh,
good
right.
idea. Because
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I assumed they picked those characters because it
You
would
got
better
forced one of them.
it better ties in with the remastered games, like
Yeah.
picking Jill and picking Nemesis. Like that makes a lot of sense for like the Resident Evil 3 remaster, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. If you,
so
yeah, for like branding for Capcom. Yeah.
yeah. Because obviously they would want this to be like a cross promotion to get more
Yeah,
people to play their
exactly.
game, sort of
But
thing.
I also think they're the most recognizable. I think that's kind of why the remasters have done so well. It's
Mm,
like you kind of know the protagonist, like they make a lot of sense. It's not Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 5. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
mm. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Chris. I
yeah.
he, he's in an 8 though, right, Chris?
I don't know. I haven't played it yet, so
No, I swear he's revealed in the trailer.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. One
I
of the
don't know.
cool things about Nemesis that I'll quickly go into is whenever Nemesis is on a map for the first time ever, there's going to be NPC zombies walking around the map, and they'll attack the player. So there'll be like an element of having to dodge these. So
Yeah, that's cool.
this is not just for the Raccoon City map. Every single map that Nemesis is a killer on will have these NPC zombies as part
Oh,
of
so
his
it's
power.
like a passive, yeah, like a
Yeah,
yeah.
like this is
Okay,
part of
that's
his
really
like
cool.
killer power that's gonna make it
Yeah,
really
that's actually
interesting
really
whenever you
good.
play against Nemesis. So that'll be interesting to
Yeah, I
see.
like that. That's a really good idea.
Mm. Why did Nemesis just punch the shit out of his own zombie?
Reclaim health.
Maybe, yeah. I didn't look too
I don't
much into
know.
his powers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could spend half an hour as we normally do looking into these
Yeah, and
updates,
that's why I
Joe.
didn't write anything down. Look, I don't, that guys, I want to talk about it, but you don't know how long
Yeah,
my list of news
okay. I feel
is.
like okay. I think we should make a show where we like talk about updates for games we really like. I think that should be a thing we actually do because like we seem to want to talk about it a lot, but
Yeah,
like
but
it takes up
then
so much time.
yeah, but then we still haven't made Tangerine episodes. Like
That's
whenever,
true,
sometimes when we're like, this should be a separate show, it's then that we never make that show.
but I
It's
feel
not
like
in the
we can make it at the
podcast.
same time. It's like not as a tangent, but like at the same like sort of like recording
Well,
session.
speaking of zombies, Dying Light 2 got a massive gameplay reveal and release date. After delaying it 50 million times, they were like, hey, let's just announce another release date for this game. And I'm like, oh, okay, if you're sure. So, Dying Light
Yeah.
2 may come out on
Oh my
December
god.
7th, 2021. It's not crazy far away. It should be coming out at the
This
end of this year.
this trailer has a lot of views. Holy shit.
People are very hyped for this game. And you know what happens when people get
Yeah,
really hyped for a big release coming out? Inevitable disappointment.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'll hold off judgment, but
I'm
I like to err on the side of caution when it comes
because
to these
I'm someone
things.
who's played through the whole of Dying Light 1, and a great game. I fucking love Dying Light 1, so I'm very
Yeah.
excited for, because it seems like Dying Light 2 is a bigger game, but we'll have to see how much of what they say now is going to get cut back. I feel like they can't.
Yeah.
There's no way they can keep all of like the promises. It does seem like it from like watching the interviews they had. Some of it may have been scaled back, but we'll have to see. The Steam page is up with a pre-order. Do not pre-order this game. I will tell you
What
now.
was the release date?
December 7th,
Okay.
2021. But thanks to the Steam page, we now see that it's being put up with an Ultimate Edition, which lets us know that it's going to have 2 DLC expansions. So they're already planning to make more content before the games even come out, just like all games these days. So at least you know if you're getting the season pass or whatever. I guess you'll know that you're going to get some more.
I love
content for the
pre-ordering
game.
DLCs.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any? It's called I hate when they're like gameplay trailer and then it's all like cinematic gameplay and it's like, but this isn't actual gameplay. There's no UI and there's no like.
Yeah, but there is gameplay in it, but it's not. They never show.
It's like
I agree that the gameplay trailer should be like actually what you see, like the actual player sees.
When I see gameplay, okay, so this is Dying Light 2, but like we got a gameplay. Sorry, I haven't got this set up properly.
Yeah, they themselves call it a gameplay trailer. Like,
so we got a gameplay trailer for Far Cry 6 as well, and I'm like, but there's no UI and there's no like I can't actually see the actual game. It's like it's a term I'm now going to call cinematic gameplay trailers. Where
yeah, I think it's better than just cinematics. Like you actually see some of the game and like in the game engine. Like that's better than nothing. But it's not like we used to see from E3. Like you'd like see someone playing the game properly.
I would like to. I like seeing like an actual person just.
Yep.
Playing. I like to see like even if they do like the Division like fake voice comms like, hey, how's it going?
No, I don't like the
playing
voice
the game.
comms.
But it's
I would
like
rather we just I don't want to hear voice comms. That becomes scripted as fuck.
But as long as I can see how like the UI looks and how like picking up items and looting and crafting and stuff like that.
But
I'd much rather see that than cinematic gameplay.
But I would claim the voiceover things makes it even more scripted than the other stuff, or as scripted as like the cinematic gameplay stuff.
All I'm saying is, I don't agree with your naming of a gameplay trailer. I think this is a cinematic gameplay trailer.
Yeah,
Far Cry 6 is coming out October 7th. The thing is they with Far Cry 3 they were like people loved Zaz. As like a egotistical maniac,
but they're remaking. They've done the Ubisoft and just remade the same game.
They keep doing, but this one's got Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad in it as an evil dictator. Yeah. From what I saw, like the trailer looks pretty good. There was a point where they show like an alligator or a crocodile. I can't tell the difference. I'm sorry.
The Tail Biscuit killer, basically.
Yeah. But when I looked at it, it was like the graphics quality on the alligator was pretty bad. Like it looked like an Xbox game or a PlayStation game, even like sort of graphics.
I wouldn't go that far, but okay. I think it's definitely less.
It was a bit rough when they showed.
Yeah, the amount of
like
polygons for the model.
When they showed it up close, it was.
Yeah, but I assume they've got lots of wildlife. At least normal Far Cry games do.
When they actually show like the up close of like this guy's like, oh, it's looking a little rough on the old pixel count. But hopefully, like,
you have to be showing it though, right?
No, this is your pet. I think you can have a pet gator. Pet gator.
Okay.
I'm gonna call it a gator. It might be a crocodile. Again, I'm gator crocodile blind. It's a condition. I can't.
I just want to know about the actual gameplay. Like, I feel like I don't think they know what they're doing with Far Cry anymore.
It's going to be an open world game where you go around collecting towers while you as a side object. Oh my god, the puppy's so cute. Look at the little puppy, guys. You see the puppy. You've got to pre-order this game on your Uplay Premium subscription. Come on, guys. It's pulling
I
on your
don't know. I
heartstrings
just
now.
don't. I don't understand. Like, they need to kind of do more than just copy and paste the same formula, in my opinion.
Tony, Sonic news. There was a Sonic Central for the Sonic anniversary. Sonic Colors Ultimate was announced. So if you don't know, Sonic Colors was the first game only ever released on Nintendo consoles. It was a Nintendo DS and Nintendo Wii exclusive, and it's
Right.
being remastered with upscaled visuals, a new game mode, refined controls, and other upgrades. It's coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC on the Epic Games Store. So this is the first ever Sonic game to be an Epic Games Store exclusive. So I guess if you really want to play Sonic Colors remaster, you're gonna have to go on Epic. That's kind of big
Oh, it's got the
news.
Sonic Heroes sounds and things as well.
You
Holy
love
shit.
to hear that. But yeah, like as someone who's recently getting all the Sonic games on Steam, I was like, oh, I wonder, I can't get Sonic Colors. Well, I'll be able to in a year's time
It's
when
the
it's out
better
of the
Sonic
Epic
Heroes,
Store.
let's be honest.
No, I was really hoping they remastered Sonic Heroes. I really want to play Sonic Heroes again.
I think this is no, but genuinely, this looks better than Sonic Heroes to
But
me.
Sonic Heroes like generally needs a lot of bug fixes, so like it's prime.
Yes.
It
I
it, it has a PC port, but it
yeah.
doesn't have like a digital storefront. It needs updating. It needs bug fixing. Like that would be a cool game. So the people working on this is Blind Squirrel Games is developing the remaster. As again, usually when people remaster a game, they remaster other games. So the studio's previous work includes Bioshock the Collection, remastering those, and working on the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So they helped out as well. So you generally see like these smaller studios who just maybe even like 10 people will just help remaster like old games while the big
Yeah.
studio goes off and works on their other projects sort of thing. So it's a good way to like allocate resources to get people to play games they never played. I'm not complaining about remasters yet.
No.
I like
No,
remasters.
I'm saying I was thinking playing the remastered game that's already been remastered.
The remaster of the
That's when I'll
remaster.
complain.
Review the reviewer. That's how you do it.
Yeah. When we get
Sonic
what's that,
news. What are you
and what's
saying?
the first game that got remastered? Like the big like a big one. Was it like a? It was it like Crash?
The Insane Trilogy.
Yeah,
There's been so many games. I feel like that was the big like
that's
wave
the big one
maybe.
though, right? Yeah, I'm saying what was it? The first big one that like I can remember. I think it might have been that. Yeah, the same
When did that
trilogy.
come out? That was like the big Activision one.
Yeah, I'm just saying if we get like in 15
We
years,
still
right?
don't we still don't have Crash Team Racing
That's fine, but in
on
15 years'
PC.
time, we get a remaster of the remaster. That's when I'll be annoyed.
But I can think of
So
like so many
that's
other
my
games that
prediction.
have been like remastered. There was like what was that game? Shadow of the Colossus was remastered.
Yeah. I don't know. That kind of needed a remaster to some extent, but it was also still playable. So that's kind of my things it didn't need a remaster, but it's nice to have.
Let's have a look.
I feel like I'm turning Arena away from Sonic news here, which I
Yeah,
realize is
I'm
cards not
looking up
saying.
lists of video game remakes and remasters, Tony. You've
Yeah,
brought me down this port.
yeah.
Banjo wasn't there like there was like the Xbox there was like the rare collection where a bunch of like Banjo Kazooie and stuff were like
Oh, that's
remastered in like
true.
on the
Yeah.
Xbox 360 in like 2000 I think 2008 was this or something like that.
I thought that wasn't that wasn't like the start of the big. That wasn't like like how like Overwatch was kind of like the big push for loot boxes, but obviously loot boxes were in other games before. Like I'm trying to think of like what was the game that or game or series that got remastered that was like the big one that everyone remembers
Look,
and
I
that
literally
started
have
this.
the remastered version of the original Mario Bros. That remastered onto the Game Boy Color, New Super Mario Bros. Deluxe.
Right. Okay.
But that's
Okay.
probably too old to start a wave sort of thing.
Yeah. No. Yes. I mean, I'm thinking of like an actual the game that started the current wave, like the pop, like not the first or like the thing that actually kind of started the trend. I guess the trend set.
I would probably say Insane Trilogy. I think that's
Yeah,
probably a good
I think
shout.
Insane Trilogy as well. I have to double check that, I think, but like I'm currently, yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. I can't see or think of anything else that I'm missing from these lists. So
Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. That was the
sure,
one. That was the one.
sure, that definitely did not start the the trend.
Um, well, because the Call of Duty and Ratchet and Clank were before the Insane Trilogy, but yeah.
Yeah, they didn't take off from that. I was just like, oh,
Oh,
it's
and
nice to have.
Yakuza was around that time as well.
Yeah, yeah, Yakuza, yeah, that's true.
Yakuza.
I still think the Insane Trilogy had more
Yeah, so I
marketing.
think around 2016, around 2017, late
Yeah,
2016 was around that time where lots
yeah,
of remasters start to come out.
I would agree with that
Mm.
from my memory.
So yeah, thank you for tangerining this
Yeah,
too much news
Tangerine.
podcast. Anyway, let's talk about Sonic Colors Ultimate. So this game will be coming out September 7th, 2021 and will be $40, and I will play it in a year when it goes on
I
sale
will
on
play
Steam.
it. It's on
I
Steam, yeah.
will buy it on a sale on Steam, probably.
I just don't like Epic. Like,
It's not
just
It's not I don't like Epic. I like the features Steam gives you that Epic doesn't have. That's what I like.
yeah, okay, yeah. I'm going one step further, and I'm going to say that I don't like the Epic launcher. It's too bad.
It's just
I
like
don't like it.
as someone who got a game in Epic and had to use the Steam forums to bug fix it, it's just
Yeah,
like it doesn't have workshop, it doesn't have forums, it doesn't,
you don't
link in with
realize
my
like
other game
how much
collection.
Steam has until you
It
don't
doesn't
have it
have
anymore.
like the Steam reviews, you don't have like
Yeah, the reviews what annoys me the most. I'm gonna be honest. Like it's so annoying.
anyway. Next up, Sonic Origins. So there's going to be another Sonic remaster, which will include Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, Sonic and Knuckles plus Sonic CD. Sega says to expect added content and features, which with more information due to be shared later this year. So it seems like they're going to do like a Mania-style remaster of the old 2D Sonic games, which will be pretty good. So might be a good way to play through those old Sonic games. So we recently reported on the Sonic voice actor Roger Craig Smith. He was no longer going to voice Sonic, but there's fan outcry. Roger Craig Smith is back voicing the Blue Hedgehog.
Was he forced to not have it? Like he didn't have a say in it, right?
I believe he like alluded that he was like he wanted to keep voicing it, but Sega
But
were like
they were like nah.
maybe they wanted to go a different direction. But it seems like because
I don't know.
he's gonna be doing like a he's gonna be doing like an animated series sort of thing.
Yeah, my suspicion is I feel like just like people like executive things just don't respect voice actors. I feel like just what happens is that like oh we can get anyone to voice act a cartoon hedgehog and like yeah but no.
So we have the Sonic crossover news. So Sonic is coming to Lost Judgment, Two Point Hospital, and even the official Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. So
Okay.
so you can dress your avatar as Sonic in the Tokyo Olympic Games June 22nd. Have a look at this video. It's nightmare fuel. You're going to see a guy in a giant fursuit running alongside Olympians. This is definitely
What the fuck is this?
The fuck is
No.
a Sonic?
No.
This is amazing. Have you seen like a trailer for the? Because whenever I think of the Olympic games, I think of Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games.
Yeah, that is what I think of.
Those are the good ones. But then I see like
actually the good ones, yeah.
But then I don't know if you've seen like the official trailer for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games game, but it just doesn't look very good. And then just having
it
Sonic
reminds me of the 2016 one, Joe, and it looks shit just as that one.
Having Sonic in a fursuit alongside this just looks so out of place and hilarious.
And also the rest of the gameplay is shit.
Somebody said Sonic's not going to pass the drug test, and you know it. Next up,
why is Sonic visiting? Why is he a doctor?
There's Sonic themed cosmetics for 2 Point Hospital. This is being added on the 22nd of June as well. So there will be Sega arcades you can put in your hospital. You can get people dressed up in Sonic costumes
that's a no from me.
Knuckles costumes.
No.
But yeah, this is a fucking weird crossover. I don't know what. Out of all the games, Sega was like 2 Point Hospital. This is the game that needs a Sonic crossover.
Okay, what's his last game? Judgment. Like actually just
Lost Judgment. So this is Sega's this is Sega's big Yakuza spin-off.
Yeah.
So
but they've just got Sonic as an arcade inside the game.
So there will be. So usually what happens is they put arcade cabinets of their other previous games inside Yakuza.
Yeah, I like.
And
that.
as this is a Yakuza spin-off, there will be Sonic the Fighters, which is like a Sonic 3D fighting game. And that will be in Lost Judgment, September 24th. And to finish off Sonic news, we got a Sonic teaser for a new Sonic game that shows absolutely nothing. It could literally this Sonic game could be about anything, and it has Sonic in it, and that's information that you don't need to watch this trailer.
I need a frame-by-frame outline.
Gabe Newell did like a speech at a New Zealand school, and people were doing like body language analysis of that interview, of like him talking. Can we get a body language analysis of Sonic the Hedgehog from the new Sonic game teaser? Okay, guys, the way
Sonic Digimon.
Guys, this is a serious Sonic analysis. The way Sonic is running, he's running away from something. Sonic is distressed. This whole new Sonic game is going to be a lot darker, edgy. I think Shadow the Hedgehog. Sonic's going to have a gun.
No, it's going to
be a war-torn. It's going to be a war-torn Sonic. He's running away from his problems.
No, he went in a circle. He's doing a clever trick. It's going to be like Skate 3, Joe.
It's going to be Skate 3, guys.
But with Sonic. It's all about tricks and just getting points, and it's going to be like a speeding competition where everyone else is in a car and you're actually just Sonic.
Alright, let's move on to PlayStation news. We got a Horizon Forbidden West trailer. We got a gameplay reveal. We got to see some cool mechanics. So basically, it's more Horizon Zero Dawn, but we got to see off like a glider grappling hook thing inside the trailer. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll just skip ahead to some. I'll see if we have some UI gameplay. I haven't played Horizon Forbidden Dawn yet, as I've got it on Steam. But does it have a heavy UI? Is it more like a cinematic sort of game?
I think it's slightly more cinematic. I don't think it's it's not what Linus says, and it is a proper it's not a slow game.
It has UI. Tony, there's UI in this trailer. There's UI in this trailer. God bless you, PlayStation, for showing us how the actual game plays in a gameplay trailer.
Well, what the actual developers probably did that. I'm not gonna give that one to Sony.
No, fair enough.
I always forget what the developer's called.
Of Horizon.
Yeah.
Let me look up for you. Because if you're like someone who played the PC port and was angry, it's Guerrilla Games.
Guerrilla Games, that is it.
Because they also because they made like the Guerrilla engine, and they also helped Kojima with Death Stranding, I believe. Because that uses the Guerrilla engine as well.
Yeah.
But if you're angry about like how the original one was ported onto the PC.
Well, it's fixed now.
Yeah, it's fixed, but also the guys at Guerrilla Games, they didn't port it. They outsourced it to another studio.
Yeah.
And also the game is made in an engine that doesn't exist on PC. Like the Days Gone one was pretty simple because that actually runs an Unreal Engine. This is like a proprietary engine that only really existed on PlayStation before. Oh, this underwater section looks amazing. I hate underwater levels, but this looks cool.
Underwater levels.
Underwater levels are always terrible in games. I can't remember one I've liked. Okay. Have you ever played a Mario game, Tony?
I don't really play Mario games though. Yeah, they shit underwater.
Yeah, no one's...
The other games that shit underwater?
Those fucking squids. I'm trying to remember. I was playing a game recently. I was playing Spire recently, and I was like, "Fuck these underwater levels."
But Ratchet & Clank 1 is a good underwater level. I quite like that one.
But it's like,
I don't know. I
it's
like
just
I like
like
underwater stuff though. So
maybe it's a
just biased.
Nintendo thing because like I think
Yeah, I
like the
can see
water
that.
temple in Zelda is supposed to be pretty annoying.
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's a
What
lot of annoying mechanics in a lot of
usually it's
Nintendo
very
games though.
annoying to maneuver around in water unless the game's designed to be in water. Like
Yeah,
Subnautica is a good underwater game, but that entire
y-
game's underwater.
yeah, that is true.
Anyway, this game looks cool. I liked the look of the first game enough to get it, and I think the second game looks cool as well. So hopefully we'll get to.
You were convinced by the first one.
I am going to maybe get it after the Epic exclusivity runs out for this one if they release
Yeah,
it on PC.
I
Who
hope
knows?
so.
Who knows what PlayStation's up with their
There's probably gonna
exclusives?
be like a PlayStation exclusivity, and then an Epic exclusivity, and then finally it'll be on PC.
PlayStation. So there was a slide from like a basically a business meeting. New growth vectors, PlayStation Studios, and they basically on the slide they announced. Jesus, you're getting attacked by a flock of birds right
Yeah,
now,
there,
Tony.
there, there are birds everywhere.
Oh
They're
my
into
god.
the podcast.
And you have RTX voice at 100%.
Yes,
What?
apparently birds sound like humans.
Right. RTX voice, can you add birds to your
Yeah,
banned
please
list
add
of
a bird
filters?
tick box,
Jesus.
please.
I could have my air conditioning unit on, it would not sound as loud as
Yeah, I
those
know.
birds.
I think birds just like, oh yeah, that's a human singing. We can't
Anyway,
get rid of that.
this brand new slide basically officially slash unofficially announced that Uncharted 4 is coming to PC. As they said, like, hey, we've got like more planned releases. Horizon Zero Dawn did really well on PC. We released Days Gone on PC, and they were like, we've got more PC releases planned, like Uncharted 4. And people were like, wait,
So
did they
is
just
this
announce Uncharted 4 on PC in a fucking business slide?
is this from like business with like Sony executives, like PlayStation
This is
people? Is this like from
PlayStation
the actual
Studios.
devs? Okay, so that they're the ones that are like allowing exclusives to Sony to be like, oh, we can put on PC as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
So they must be getting a shitload of money to make that worthwhile for them because they're so close.
Well, it says here they made a 250% return on investment on
Oh
Horizon
my god.
Zero Dawn,
Okay, that's good.
and they targeted brand new geographies, and they've got the India flag, the China flag, and the Russia flag. So they got fans from places
Okay.
where consoles were previously banned. So that's because
Yeah.
like Asia has a massive
But I
PC
think
gaming market, and I
I
guess
think we've
Russia
finally
does
come
maybe
to the
then.
conclusion. Collectively, we've come to the conclusion that people on PC are not going to buy a console, or they're very, very unlikely
I'll
to.
put my hand up. I have not bought a console to buy an exclusive. I'd rather just play
No.
games on PC.
Yeah.
My
I don't
question
know.
is,
Too much money.
obviously Uncharted 4 is the big like impressive visual game. They're like, hey, let's put this on PC and we can get more fans to PlayStation.
Yeah.
I feel like I may not play this because I haven't played the first three Uncharted
Yeah.
games.
The first
It would make way more sense
three.
if those were remastered onto the PC
Yeah.
first.
My understanding, I've not played 4. I've played 1, 2, and 3. I've not completed 3 though.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I prefer 1 and 2 to 3 even, so.
It just doesn't make it like they're like, hey, we're announcing a game
Yeah.
for PC. It's the fourth game in the series, and I'm just like, from a technical standpoint, makes perfect sense. From a story perspective, I'm
Yeah,
going to be incredibly confused.
I don't know, they're kind of standalone, like, but at the same time, yeah, it is interesting to see it in order, like, for
Tony,
sure.
we're at 45 minutes and I haven't even got through like trailers
No,
into quick news. Okay.
I know.
I'm gonna start snuffing up. This is why I couldn't talk about Dead by Daylight. Sony will invest more into the PC gaming space. Looks like games will arrive on PC when the time is right, but PlayStation will be the first and best place to play, is what they've put. So it seems like
Yeah, the best, definitely.
games won't launch at the same time on PlayStation and PC like they do with Xbox, where they have like all of the Microsoft Studio games released on Xbox and PC at the same time. It seems like they're gonna go, hey, if you want to play Bloodborne or the Demon Souls remaster or like Ratchet and Clank, you're gonna have to play them on the PS5 first, and then maybe down the line in a couple of years we'll port them over
Yeah,
to the
it's
PC.
kind of what we used to
So
see with like FPS stuff on Xbox 360, right?
Mm.
Like stuff would go there first for a few months. I mean, or this is still console exclusive, right? But it's kind of similar in my eyes.
Yeah, so it's kind of just. I do wish they would realize that, as Xbox has, if you release them at the same time, people on the PC will buy them. They're not going to buy a PS5 just to.
Yeah, but
Just
it's
to
more
start.
resources to get it working on both platforms, though.
Yeah,
I will say
but the
that, but
thing
it does
is,
seem like more of
like,
a business thing, more less than a technical thing. So I do
all of the
agree that
consoles are
they should
running
try.
on basically Radeon 6000s, and almost all of the games developed these days are running on Unreal Engine. And like
Yeah,
Sony and Epic have that big like they had that big like joint where they were showing off like Unreal Engine 5 running on the PS5, and they were like, "Hey, Unreal Engine 5 is really good for developers," sort of thing. So it seems like it.
do you think we're gonna like more and more engines will just be cross platform, like PC and console, sort of like just made from the
Well,
ground
that's
up
what
here to
Microsoft
do
tried
that
to do
easily?
with UWP. That's why all
Yeah,
Microsoft games with UWP was because they wanted them to be able to run on a PC and an Xbox, and they just gave up on the idea because nobody
yeah,
wanted
kind
to
of a
make
shame.
it in UWP. They were just like, hey, it's a
Well,
lot easier if
yeah,
we just make our own engine or we just go Unreal
from
or Unity.
From Microsoft's perspective, I think it made more sense if they worked with like existing like engine developers to try and integrate stuff to make it easier for like their engine to work on both Microsoft and
Yeah, but then
Windows.
you could go down the EA path where you're trying to get everyone to run Frostbite, or you could go
Well, that's what I mean.
down.
I don't want them to do that. So I'd rather they just work with everyone else. So like you allow the market to like you still choose what you want to choose with the best features instead of like being
Yeah.
stuck not getting what you want.
Dreams Community Convention DreamsCon returns for 2021. Can we port Dreams to PC, please? Because it looks really fun, and it apparently
Can we
it has a VR mode as well, and I would
Little
love
Big
to play
Planet to
Dreams.
PC?
Yes, Little Big Planet,
One and two, please.
Ratchet and Clank, Crash Team Racing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crash Team Racing is like a really reasonable one because
Jack and
Activision has
Daxter.
already ported all of their other remasters over.
Yeah.
Ben
Yeah.
Studios, people who made Days Gone, have announced they're expanding the Ben Studio portfolio with a brand new IP. So we're going to see another game from Days Gone. It seems like maybe thanks to the success of Days Gone on PC, they are able to make another game. Introducing Team Asobi. So the creators of the Astrobot series. I don't know if you know about the Astrobot series, but it's basically the Astrobot series kind of has existed to advertise Sony's new products. So the
Yeah, I
Astrobots
have
have
seen.
they create games like, hey, here's how you use the new PS4 controller, here's how you use
Yep.
PSVR, here's how you use
Yep.
the new PS5. And people are like,
Yep.
the games they make are
That's pretty
really
cool though.
good. They're
Yeah.
really good from what I've
Yeah.
seen. Like,
As tech demos, absolutely fantastic. But
but
as actual games, they look fun as well. So
people are saying, yeah, they're not just tech demos; they're like legit,
yeah.
really good games. So it seems like Sony is making Astrobot Asobi team its own like separate studio that's going to have more resources, and they can actually develop more fuller, bigger length games.
I'm
Sort of
looking
thing.
forward to
So.
see what they can do. I hope they do actually make big proper games. Or
Yep.
even just small, like proper small games even. But like just a proper game would be great.
And God of War has been delayed to 2022. The new God of War game.
Yeah, didn't they get a lot of hate for that? For
Yeah,
some
people were
stupid
sending
reason?
death threats
Like,
and shit.
can people
That is
stop?
fucked up. I don't agree
Just
with that.
stop.
Guys,
Just stop,
every
guys.
game's getting delayed. Like it's inevitable. Like people
When
do not send death threats to people. It does not.
Yeah,
It doesn't make the game
there's
get
no
made
reason for it.
any faster. It's like
Yeah, it doesn't help.
imagine like somebody sends you a death threat. And you're like, well, I better make this product so that person who sent me a death threat can enjoy this product quicker.
Yeah, you're like, no, I'm gonna fuck them even more. Like, I don't want to help anymore.
You'll catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Let's just
Yeah,
say that.
exactly.
PSVR. We got a PSVR announcement. The big news, the big announcement was Sniper Elite VR. Was the big announcement. So this is coming to PSVR, Quest, and Steam VR. So this will be available on PC as well. This is coming out July 8th. It looks pretty cool. I don't think we have a huge amount of sniper games in VR because the idea is that you can look down the sniper scope
Yeah.
inside virtual reality, and that'd be a cool way to
Yeah.
play. From the
It's a
trailer,
good match.
from the trailer, it says you can snipe and stealth, but like 90% of the trailer is just him walking around shooting people with a machine gun. So
Yeah, okay. My understanding of Sniper Elite, right? It obviously started out as like a stealth game, but then they just added like loads of other stuff. So you just go. So it's not like a.
it started
If you
out. It
fail, you
started out as
immediately
like
just
a
fail the
stealth
mission.
sniper game, and then turned into like shoot Hitler in the balls game.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of like that. I think that's hilarious. I don't like stealth games that you just instantly fail. So like it's kind of like a
Yeah,
soft. It kind of started as like a soft
Sony.
failing mechanic. So you just fuck it, add machine guns.
I'm going to play it. I
Yeah,
love VR games.
I like how crazy Sniper Elite is
My
going. Actually,
own,
so.
like, hitting people over the head with a hammer in VR looks cool. I wanted to do that in fucking Hitman VR, but you have to use a controller and it's exclusive to PSVR. Don't get me fucking started on PSVR. We need to do E3 predictions before the next podcast as well.
Oh, that's true.
PSVR 2 is what I'm predicting. We will
Definitely.
see it. I'm just going to run down off the top of my head because we don't have time for this. Starfield from Bethesda. Doom Eternal Invasion Mode from Bethesda.
Do you think? Wait, hang on. Whoa. Back to Bethesda. Do you think they will talk about Elder Scrolls 6 or push that back until later?
No, we're not getting any news about Elder Scrolls 6. I don't think it's anywhere. I think they probably have more to talk about with Starfield than Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh yeah, they put it in front first for a very good reason, like
Yeah.
from last time. So yeah.
But I don't think they'll have a lot to talk about for Starfield. I think we're going to see like really early.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's my prediction as well. I think we're just not. I think Bethesda's just.
We need to make.
Right now.
We'll make bingo cards, and I will.
Yep.
And I'll figure out everything we
Didn't
think
we
is
get?
going
We
to be
got bingo cards from like someone else's stuff at one point, didn't we? Like, do they still do that? Was that?
I'll try and find third-party ones, but I think it'd be cool to make our own with just general predictions.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So I will, after the podcast, we'll make like general predictions. I might post them on Twitter or something. I think I'd love to see like Half-Life Alyx, a new PSVR 2 announced with Half-Life Alyx. That would be fucking sick.
Okay,
A beam of light comes down from the stage. Holographic Gabe Newell from New Zealand. It's worth the wait. Half-Life Alyx PSVR.
That would be great.
Yeah, we got to think about it because there's too much fucking news. Okay, next up, Wanderer, another game that was announced on the PSVR VR. One thing I got to say about Sony, they do make a lot of this stuff PlayStation exclusive, but they're one of the only big publishers like, hey, we're actually going to highlight VR games. Like nobody else is putting together like these VR shows. Like I fucking love VR, and I really like. Valve did a good job with Alex, and they were like, well, let's peace out. Let's go and make an index with brain-computer interface. An index that's wireless is going to cost more money than the original index and has brain-computer interfacing in it. That is what's going to be an announcement. They don't generally do E3, so we'll have to see, but yeah. Anyway, Wanderer. It's a time travel puzzle escape room, basically.
Yeah,
PSVR, Steam VR, Oculus, and this is coming Q3 2021. I love like the puzzle escape room. I'm a big fan of I Expect You to Die. The secret agent simulator is really cool, so I'll be excited to play this.
I love the time travel stuff with like the rooms changes depending on like what time you're in as well. That's really cool.
But it's cool to see that's coming to PC as well, so you can play that on your PC VR headset.
Play the drums!
Yeah. Arashi. I want to say Arashi? I've got a rash. I've got a rashy. Castles of Sin.
I don't know.
I looked at this trailer and I said, oh, it's Ghost of Tsushima in VR. And you look at the... they've removed it now, but when you clicked what game is being shown, it said Ghost of Tsushima on the official trailer. So even YouTube thought this game was Ghost of Tsushima. But yeah,
nice
basically,
try,
it looks like it's going to be a PSVR exclusive based on the fact that I feel like I've got Vaseline rubbed on my eyes.
Yeah, it's even worse. There's like anti-aliasing problems there as well. That's really there's like edge problems.
The gameplay looks cool, but I'd love to see like running on like a PC. So if you could bring this to PC,
yeah.
It's coming to PSVR summer 2021.
Oh, the frame rate, the animation frame rate isn't great either.
They also showed like a plant. They also showed a VR game that was like planting trees VR, but I was like, I don't care about this.
No, I don't
You
care.
walk around a desert planting trees, but if you get too far away from the trees suck you up, and you have to plant more trees. The entire game is walking around planting trees. Anyway, Randy Pitchford news. So Randy Pitchford has announced. This is kind of related to PlayStation. He said, good news or bad news first. An update. For Borderlands 3, we have prepared for a release that includes full crossplay support across all platforms. Bad news. For certification, we have been required by publishers to remove crossplay support for PlayStation consoles. So it seems like...
Yeah, well, we knew PlayStation crossplay is something that is blood from stone.
It's like everyone else is like, yeah, we can do crossplay, and they're like, cool, we'll do that for Borderlands 3. And then Sony's like, Sony's coming up like
Apple, right?
No,
like, oh no, we can't verify that.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Tony, it's only an hour into the podcast. Let's get on to quick news. Doom can run on a captcha. So a web developer in Spain created a captcha test featuring a short and simple Doom game to prove that you're a human. Yes, Doom can run on a captcha. As we alluded to earlier, OBS Studio 27 is out now. We talked about this previously. This is the OBS with Nvidia noise removal ability to add as a filter. You do have to download the API from the Nvidia website if you want to use this, but I can go into OBS and just use RTX voice as I'm using. Guys, I don't want to alarm you, but I've been using RTX voice this entire time, if you haven't been able to tell.
What?
Yes, I pulled the sheet from your eyes.
I feel like you said this earlier, but I feel like
I alluded to it. It was a foreshadowing about this news topic.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we had originally when RTX voice came out, like we had to keep saying like, oh yeah, it's actually good. We don't need to worry about like cutting things out. And now as people just accept it, it's like yeah, RTX voice it just works.
Well, my annoyance was I didn't want it on all the time, but I wanted to use it for the podcast occasionally. So it's like it's cool that it's so much easier.
Why do you want it all the time though? Just like the resource intense.
Yeah, but like sometimes it can like cut me out and stuff like that. Like I don't need it.
Okay.
Like when I want it on, I want it on aggressively. Because I want it on because I'm going to increase the gain on my mic. I'm going to have an AC on.
Yeah.
But I don't want it on all the time because honestly, like Discord voice detection and like their solution just works fine. I don't need RTX on all the time.
I will say I feel like they need to put more effort into the app for the RTX voice because then you have like a lot of different profiles.
The app is a slider. That's the whole app.
Yeah, it doesn't remember. Yeah, it could be a lot better. I appreciate they don't want to put resources into it, but yeah, honestly, RTX voice is fucking amazing. And if you could like, you could sell a graphics card with like RTX voice alone, in my opinion, because it's so good.
Yeah, I was telling my brother about like how good RTX voice was. Like, oh, you have a 1080. Ooh, unlucky.
Unlucky.
I do feel genuinely bad for the people who don't get to experience like the RTX technology. As I genuinely feel bad that I don't have resizable bar support because I don't have the. I have the 2000 series and they never announced it comes to the 2000 series because.
But just saying myself great to new graphics cards.
I may get a 4000 series, but that will be God knows when.
May depends.
Microsoft Flight Simulator patch has been released, so the initial game size has gone from 170 gigabytes down to 83. It's always cool to see when massive games get compacted to a more reasonable size. As I know my friend Charlie, he's always complaining that he loves Microsoft Flight Simulator, but he said it took ages to download, and every time he updates, because he also plays like Warzone with us, and every time I finish downloading the Warzone update, it's just in time to download the next Warzone update. Because he has like a very unstable connection to his house.
It's just so big that it's just always updating. Why are the updates so big though? Let's just having to like.
Just the game's fucking massive, so the updates.
But why are the updates so fucking massive?
Because they have to change lots of files. because there's lots
But I
of
feel like
files.
but I feel like a lot of the sizes from textures, like, is they just loading in every single like
The
massive
game is
texture
well,
file?
Tony. They could reduce the file size. I believe they did. They did make it so you could download just Warzone instead of having all of Call of Duty and Zombies installed.
But why
But the
can't
thing
I
is,
choose what texture size I want before I even install the game? Wouldn't that be great?
yes, it would, but they're not going to allocate resources to
No.
that.
No. Well, I
Um,
think Steam should do it. Then it
but the
just like
thing is,
uses their API.
my friend plays Warzone and he also plays Call of Duty Black Ops 3, which is another fucking massive game. So he's always constantly downloading Call of Duty patches. Anyway,
Yeah, it's
next up,
unfortunate.
Knockout City. It had the 10-day free trial. I said it's quite big. It will always have a player base because the Games Pass and the EA Play. They've now made it so instead of only being able to play it 10 days after launch, you can now play for free until level 25. I was playing this with a friend. I played the beta. I absolutely loved the beta. And I was like, I don't want to be at a point where I, like, every time I'm like, oh, I don't want to level up. I don't want to play this because then I'll run out of time to play this. And I'm like, if I'm at a point where I'm wanting to savor my time with my trial of the game because I'm enjoying it so much, I should just get the game. Guys, I got the game. I bought a game at full price. I just enjoyed the game, and it's at a reasonable price.
Just buy the game.
I got over the curse of only being able to buy a game if it's on sale, even if it's not a good sale. Like you know when a game's like it goes on like a 10% sale, and you're like oh, it's a sale. Finally, I can buy it. It's like the game's at a reasonable price. Like
Yeah.
you can buy a game not on sale if it's at a good price and you want to play
This is why I believe in absolutes. Yeah. If it's a good price, it's a good price.
Generally, I wait for sales because like single player
games...
it can
get, but like price can get better. But like if you're wanting to play it now, then that's kind of the cost,
guys,
the price you have to play it.
Is it? No, it's not today. In 2 days' time, Caves and Cliffs Part 1 will arrive June 8th on both Java and Bedrocks. Axolotls.
That's 1.17.
Axolotls, goats, glow squids, amethysts, and copper. That is what is coming in Part 1.
Candles as well. There's the underground. The underground. Okay, a lot of underground changes are completely gone, but I think they're still keeping the.
I asked you about rails. And did you find out about rails?
I think the rails are still in.
Powered rails work underwater.
Yeah, I believe that's still in there because it's just all the technical stuff seems to be. Like all the block technical stuff seems to still be there. It's just like the actual world gen integration not there yet.
We're missing the blind mobs that rely on sound. What are they called again?
The warden.
Shulkers. There's shulkers in.
There's the warden itself that then has the
warden and the skulkers. Yeah, that's what they're called.
Yeah, but the skulk sensors aren't really. They're not actually mobs. I don't think. I think they're just blocks inside where the warden.
And
lives.
We don't have the mountain update.
We don't have the mountain biome. We don't have the increased world height. We don't have the underground biomes. But I think we have all the blocks. It's just they don't spawn. So I think we have the deep slate and the what's it called? The stalagmites, that sort of thing. I can't remember what they called in the game though.
Yeah.
Dripstone. I think we got dripstone and things, but I don't think it's not spawning properly. I think it's so I'm gonna wait until 1.18.
For the full caves and cliffs.
Yeah.
Tony, I'm gonna wait for 1.19.
Fair enough. What
we
excited 1.19?
The swamp update where they had Shrek.
I don't think it's necessarily a swamp. I think it's going to be.
What's your prediction? Have they announced it already?
They kind of soft announced it by the votes from before. So the reason why we're doing cliffs and things, the
mountain
is because of the mountain boat. So I think is it desert next? I can't actually remember now. Oh no, Savannah, I think. Oh, I don't know. I had to go back and see what the votes were. But yeah, I think there's suspicions on what's coming after this, or next year, I guess now, 2022.
Let's have a look. I'm just gonna read this fake wiki about it. The 1.19, the war update. It's gonna have evil soldiers that spawn in with AK-47s, pistols, shotguns, and miniguns. Guys, we've got an exclusive on 1.19. So you're gonna get tanks spawning in your Minecraft games. They're gonna have, of course, you're gonna need rocket launchers against them. That is what's coming in the 1.19 update.
Well, how do you find a fake wiki on Minecraft?
I typed Minecraft 1.19 and this is what came up.
Oh, what? Okay.
So if you don't know, the Elite Dangerous Odyssey, the DLC came out. It was met with a lot of criticism because the new DLC had
Yeah.
bad performance. People complained about bad UI. A lot of stuff in the update was broken. But there is the actual David Brambon actually put out an apology on how bad the performance was. They've put out a bug fix to fix it, and they've even put out a roadmap that will be coming out in the next few weeks in order to fix stuff such as fixing up the UI, improvements, shared missions, and a bunch of different stuff. So that's cool to see. We got an update from Dolphin Emulator where they basically just said they've got Dolphin running on the Mac OS M1, and they've basically just said the Mac M1 is a fucking amazing piece of tech. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like everyone.
Well, it's good. It's good at emulating X86 stuff. So I'm pretty sure it can emulate a lot of other stuff.
But I feel like Mac. I feel like I was critical of the new like Mac's claims on like their new laptops being stronger than like a lot of Windows laptops. But I'm like, I have to like eat humble pie here and say like Apple did a really good job on the M1 chip. Like,
Yeah.
like
Well, I think it's both. I think it's both the M1 chip itself and the emulation software. Like they've really put a lot of hard work into that as like a,
you think?
translation layer.
Here's a question: Is the iPad just a PC now? Thanks. Is it at that point, or is it still a tablet?
Well, according to Apple, it's a computer.
Hmm.
So I guess it depends. You believe Apple. It's not quite there yet, in my opinion. I think they could just add a fucking mouse. That would be great. And maybe add some other functionality, like be able to just see your files properly instead of. Yeah, I think it's almost a PC. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have Deep Rock Galactic. So we talked about they were planning to add mod support and they were unsure how they were going to implement it. We've got an update on their planned mod support. So they will be using a website called mod.io for modding. So it will let users tag their mods. So there's going to be a sandbox mode that will... mods won't affect your base game progression. So if you're playing in this mode, basically you can do whatever the hell you want. And
like a mods mode and a default.
Yeah, but then they'll also have a mods that will still let you progress through the base game system, and then
okay.
There'll be like the ability to like filter out servers by mods. You can say, "Hey, this servers has mods that lets you progress through the game. I want to play with those mods," and there will also be an ability to play with no mods as well if you don't want to interact with the mods, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a really fucking cool idea, integrating mods directly into your game. I wish more people would do this. And I was like, wait, I wonder what other games use mods.io. Tony, have you ever heard of mods.io? I want to ask you this question.
I've never heard mod.io.
One of the biggest games that is implemented with mod.io is actually Space Engineers. This is the one big game where they're like, hey,
is that using this? Oh, they use it for servers, do they?
Don't know.
Oh,
but like I looked at like all of the games that had implemented mod.io support, and the big ones were like Space Engineers, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. These were like the big games.
Yeah.
So there's really not like massive games to see like how well this tech works. But I think it's not a thing other than the Steam workshops. Game developers don't ever implement like proper modding support into their games. So
mod how the Weird Viking.
No, it's medieval.
No, which one's this one?
It's medieval.
Oh, it's medieval one, right?
It's like chivalry, basically.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. There's not many games on here, is there?
No, but the only one, but there's a load of like games that none I recognize, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, like honestly, the biggest games are like Space Engineers and Tabs. Those are like the games I recognize.
I've been seeing those only ones in there. Yeah,
So
okay.
I was like, because I know you played like thousands of hours of Space Invaders. Have you never like?
Yeah,
It says it's integrated. Have you never like? Is
I
there
usually just in workshop, so
is there nothing in Space Engineers that would say, "Hey, we have a mod.io page that you can use if you want
no.
to"?
I might
Okay,
do, but I wasn't paying attention. They advertise a lot of other shit on their home screen, so
so I think the mod plan for Deep Rock Galactic is a really cool idea, and I think the ability to still allow people to progress is really cool. The thing
yeah.
I loved about Deep Rock Galactic is the mining is really good, but if someone could make a mod that had crafting, we could have a
Whoa,
Minecraft.
Minecraft game, a craft mine game.
I do genuinely think that I would like more, like the ability to craft more stuff at the base and
Yeah,
like
like
just
in the actual
yeah,
mission, you
yeah,
mean?
like
Like,
maybe like
yeah,
some
I agree with that entirely.
no, like when I go back to the base, actually like build my own base sort of thing. That would be
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
based on the
Might even
resources
be
I
cool, like if
gathered.
the mission is like, oh, like you don't have to do it. But like a mission is like, oh, if you find like this crystal or something, or you find this rare mineral, you could like craft this thing to help you out in the mission. Like it's like an
Mm.
alternative path for you. That'd be kind of cool.
We got a grounded update, changing from monthly updates to doing larger and slightly less frequent updates. And they also released a sort of a building update. So they've released more building pieces for the game for grounded, and the ability to flip them. The ability to flip things just allows you to like make so much more like creative buildings when you can like
What do you mean?
like flipping
Flip the pieces.
like flipping mirror. You can like flip them or get mirrored versions. So
Oh, okay.
if you have a
Right.
staircase that goes one way, you can have it go the other
Yeah,
way, or like
symmetry stuff, basically.
yeah, or you can like turn stairs upside down. Maybe
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was huge for Minecraft building guys. The ability to flip stairs upside down, game changer.
Nah, Notch told me that was a mistake, and I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
disagree with you, Notch.
Well, Notch
You're
was a mistake
completely
because
wrong.
they removed him from Minecraft. So,
Well, it
uh,
doesn't even make Minecraft anymore, so that
and
makes
they
sense.
also are updating their version of Unreal Engine 4 to a newer version, which they say will allow them to take advantage of new particle engine Niagara. So,
Yeah. Didn't Satisfactory do that recently as well? Like to do some for some other reason.
I don't know if they updated their engine recently. I have to find out more about Steam
Somewhat
news.
Steam news.
So CS:GO non-Prime accounts have been nerfed. So basically, new players can still play every game mode, play on community servers, and play workshop maps. But if you haven't bought Prime status, basically, if you don't know, CS:GO is free to play. But if you don't buy like a Prime status, basically, all the servers you go on are like non-vax servers, so you can have like hackers and cheaters on them. And as somebody who played with someone who had non-Prime
Okay.
status, every single server I went on that was non-Prime status had
Why
like
does that
hackers on
make
it
any sense?
because they're not giving away the game for free. They want people to play the game.
No, but yeah, right, that's fine. But I feel like making sure cheaters aren't in your game, even for free players, is just like a
Right, but
basic thing.
they can't
I
police
understand it costs money for that, but
they can't police every single server, and they can't police community servers because
that's
these are
fair.
yeah. So,
I'm not asking them to though. I'm just
but
saying that surely it should be that should be just a perk that everyone has.
one thing that the non-Prime accounts, Tony, were really fucking good. Like they allowed you to receive XP. You got ranks. You got gun drops. You could be in a skill group, and you had a free path to unlock Prime status from your non-Prime account. Like they gave you the ability to get a Prime account, like the full version of the game, without purchasing the game.
Right.
But basically, there were too many bad actors. Basically, the CS:GO has a big problem with hackers. I mean, any popular game will. So basically, what they've done is they've made it so you can still basically play the game and play workshop maps, play community servers, do whatever you want to do, but you can't have a free path to Prime status. You can't get XP. You can't get ranks and drops, and you can't abuse the system by botting it or like getting drops and botting it, that sort of thing. Um, so yeah,
So is this a yeah? So it's basically okay. I feel like it's just like a lot of people who want to play this game would have to buy it now. I guess if they want to
yeah,
do
but it
all of
also
this.
means like people who want to cheat are going to have to pay again, and their
Yeah,
wallet's
yeah,
going to run out of
for
money
sure, for
eventually.
sure.
So
I thought it was always weird that it was kind of like a free to play game. Like I don't.
it hasn't. No, I mean the Prime status is a like couple of years recent thing. Like it hasn't.
Yeah, but I just mean, but I feel like this is a really weird. But it's always been a weird system. Like they've always tried to kind of. I don't know. It just seems like a. They've always tried to double dip to some extent, but yeah,
Okay.
just
New
makes it more confusing
Steam
to me.
DIY collaborative bundles. So if you ever seen like a bundle on Steam where two developers or publishers come together, like I think recently, what was it? It was like Valve and Dead by Daylight came together where they did the build chapter for Dead by Daylight, and they were like, "Hey, here's a bundle where you can buy Dead by Daylight and you can buy Left 4 Dead." That makes perfect sense because until recently, the only way to get cross-publisher bundles was directly through Steam. Steam curated cross-developer bundles.
Oh
Now,
right.
developers and publishers can create their own Steam multi-game bundles with other developers and publishers. So the way it works is you invite the other developers or publishers into a collaborative bundle program, and then you and them basically have to agree which games go in. You agree when the games go on sale. All participants decide the royalty split, the any discounts, what games go in, that sort of thing, any future major changes to the bundle, sort of thing. So I like bundles because usually they make buying games I'm interested in cheaper. So like having the
How
ability.
does I suppose the time limit and like you could edit it, like it has to be like a unanimous thing, right? Like how does I'm not sure
Yeah. So
how would that
basically,
work?
I don't know the exact specifics because this is all developer stuff, but I assume like
Yeah,
every time there's a sale coming up, you can then basically you can go, I want to put this on sale, and then the other publisher will get a notification, and then they agree, okay, let's put it on sale for this, and then
yeah,
any other
yeah.
publishers in it will go, okay, let's put it on sale for this. Steam VR 1.17 is officially out. We talked about this previously being in beta, but it's now officially out. So we have window view, window docking to Steam VR, and you can put it on your hands. So I talked about this before. Like people like to put Twitch chats when they're streaming in VR on their hands, or if you don't have multiple screens like me, it's very very useful to dock like a Chrome window to Google stuff when you're like, oh my VR game's broken, I need to Google something, or I'm like, hey, I want to respond to a message on Discord, but I'm in VR, I need to like quickly get access to Discord, sort of thing. This stuff is very very useful. And there's also now per app rendering customizations. I think this was in the beta as well, but I didn't talk about it. There is field of view scale. So they're going to give you the ability to give yourself lower FOV as a trade-off for peripheral vision for increased clarity. So if you're like, I can see around me a lot, but I can't really read this thing very well, you may want to lower your FOV for increased like reading clarity sort of thing. You still here, Tony?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Me and the birds. We're still
Yeah. I was just making sure I hadn't DC'd anything.
Yeah,
And there's
yeah.
another option, override world scale. So what this option is going to do, it's really interesting. This will let you override the actual world scale of the game. So it adjusts the perceived scale of the world, which can help get the size of an aircraft cockpit to feel just right. So say you're in like a flight simulator VR game, and you're like, oh, this cockpit feels massive compared to me. You can scale the world to be smaller so you're bigger, sort of thing. Or like you can make, if you're like, these doors are fucking massive, I should be
Yeah,
bigger,
yeah.
you can make the player bigger and the world smaller.
Hey,
This,
just more things to make
I
it
like how they're
easier.
like, this is also kind of an accessibility change, because they're like, they literally say this could help short people reach tall places if like the game's too big for you.
Okay. Accessibility.
Basically, they say like this is a kind of a, this feature could completely break the game, but it could work. So it's kind of like a experimental-ish feature sort of thing where like it will be done per app basis, and it could, you know, be buggy in your VR game, but it will like improve games for a lot of people, for certain people in certain
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
My question is, a lot of complaints of the game accounting. I don't know if you know about this game, but it's like the Justin Roiland game where you like walk around and you put on like
Yeah.
headsets and interact with people. A lot of complaints of that game is people saying, hey, a lot of the time they need you to like walk out of your play space to interact with stuff, and like it makes it unplayable if you have a really small play space because you can't teleport or anything. I'm wondering if this overworld world scale thing where I could make myself really big. That would actually help with games that have too big play spaces. I could actually scale them down so I could interact with them easier in a small play space.
Would
This,
that not be disorientating in a way to do it on the fly though? Or do you think
but
that's fine?
no, I think you may need to restart the game with like
Oh,
the
okay,
overall world
right.
scale
So you
thing.
would, right, okay.
I
So
don't
you'd be like,
think you would
okay,
do it
the
on the
place,
fly.
yeah, you want like, I need this, yeah,
So I'd be like, this game has like a really big world scale. I'm gonna make it myself
yeah.
bigger and the world a bit smaller, sort of thing.
I'd have to, yeah, I'm curious to how this would work, but I feel like it's kind of at
I
the
need someone.
user's discretion.
I need someone to get like. I feel like there's not enough people with like in-depth VR stuff where they talk about like super sampling resolution, adjusting your
Yeah,
field of view, this new overworld. I need 2 Clicks Phillips to test around with this and make like a video about it where he's like,
yeah.
this is what this does and this is this
To be
it
fair,
works in
like,
this
it's
game.
kind of a lot. That's kind of a lot of stuff like the PCs, like
I should make a video on this because I'm.
But I say like it's kind of a problem like YouTube PC stuff in general. Like they do the hardware and don't really like explain like how to set up certain stuff as well. It's like, well, that's kind of also very important.
I need to carry on with the news, Tony, or we're going to run out of time.
Yeah,
Steam maybe redesigning their store. It seems like there may be a new Steam store, but it seems like Steam's redesigning a lot of its UI recently. The downloads page,
yeah.
lots of different stuff like that.
I would like them as they're redesigning it to make it more stable, please. At the moment, it's using. I don't know enough about it, but I more often than not for me, like if I keep Steam open for too long, eventually like it would like one component of it would just crash and like it really bugs out. I have to
Okay.
restart Steam. I did not have to do that before.
It kind
So
of the redesign kind of looks more like a mobile app sort of thing. This could be just they've redesigned the UI for the mobile app.
this is only mobile, isn't it? Or there's at least a small scale version.
I'm not sure because
So this is gonna be the same as the browser. So surely, like once you get if you make a browser small enough, it should switch to responsive design to like the mobile version.
I believe this is on the mobile, but this UI doesn't exist on the mobile version, and it doesn't exist. It's not like a scaled down version of the original Steam UI.
No.
Right.
There's something saying on the Google cap. Did they? Wait. Okay. Was this released?
No. Well, it's just like they keep it in like the Steam builds. They keep like putting this stuff in, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's getting like data mined out, and then they're like, "Oh shit," and then they're like removing it, sort of thing. So like, they're working on this stuff actively, but they're not ready to announce it, sort of thing. But it seems like because I said like they were going to do a Steam VR update. I thought it was going to be part of a bigger update. Obviously, I don't know how big the actual override world scale and field of view stuff's going to be until I test them out. Maybe I will test them out. It's pretty fucking hot at the moment, guys, and I hate to play VR in the heat, so we'll see. Because I played all my VR in the winter. But like, I thought that all of this like Steam stuff, all of this, poor guys. There's another huge Portal 2 update coming out. Another Portal 2 update. They've put 2 lines in, guys. They've
2 lines.
They fixed the game failing to launch in OS X, and they fixed some controller glyphs. Another Portal 2 update, guys. They've done it.
Okay.
I think we may see some sort of like complete redesign of Steam, similar to like the Steam library overhaul. It seems like that's what's coming, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Because
as long as they make the stability of it better as well, that'd be great.
Yeah. We need to make a list of features Steam needs and doesn't have.
Yeah, or just like things that are not quite right and need to be improved.
And then I'll email it to Gabe Newell, and he will not read it. Anyway, so I don't know if you heard about this. Court has upheld a jury decision in the Steam controller patent dispute. So Ironberg, the people who are like they own Scuff Gaming, or like have a majority stake in Scuff Gaming. They have a patent on a game controller with 2 additional paddle buttons on the rear of the controller, designed to be used by a user's middle finger. If you don't know, the Steam controller also has paddles like these. Scuff Gaming basically makes like pro controllers for like the PlayStation and the Xbox and stuff.
Yeah.
So they sued the Steam controller for having these paddles on the back because they had a patent for this. They were sued for 4 million. Scuff Gaming won. Valve then tried to overturn the results and failed. And Scuff also said, well, we are going to try to increase damages, which they also failed on. The judge said it was a pretty straightforward case that could be determined with just two pieces of evidence: the patent and the Valve Steam controller. It had the paddles on the back that you used your middle fingers to push.
Yeah. I somewhat disagree. In my opinion,
I
that's a little
disagree.
bit too
I
generic to
disagree.
be an actual patent that should be held. I think
So the jury appears to have done exactly that. The defendant just does not like the result the jury reached. I do agree that you can't try and overturn a decision just because you don't like the outcome.
yeah, but
As
at
he
the same
said,
time, that's not the. I think that's way too. I think that just simplifies it too much. I disagree with too generic patents in the first place, and that's kind of the point of these patent
defendant's
disputes. It,
dissatisfaction does not constitute grounds for judgment as a matter of law or a new trial. So, my opinion, Valve doesn't give a shit about paying $4 million. That is chump
no.
change to them. They give a shit about the fact that they want to fight the president that someone can
Yes.
own a fairly generic patent on a controller.
Yes. So I'm gonna have to still agree with Steam here or Valve here. Sorry, I don't like generic patents.
Because I don't think it's too generic. Like the fact that it's. I wouldn't agree with the controller patent that was like bumper buttons. You can't have bumper buttons in your controller because our controller
But
has
how is this
bumper
any different
buttons on
from
it.
bumper buttons though?
But it's specifically on rear paddle buttons that you use with the middle
Yes.
fingers.
Okay. Shoulder buttons specifically for your middle finger button. Like it's as generic to me. Like yes, it's for a different set of fingers in a different position, but it's still super generic. I could understand if the pattern itself is a very specific implementation of like rear buttons, and then and Valve just reuse that without paying. I could understand that, and maybe that is what the patent says, but I don't know. This just seems
Yeah,
way too generic to me.
once again, patent laws are too generic, and
I personally think it shouldn't be up to like the dispute. Like it should be like as you file it, like there should be some sort of is this too generic? Like
yeah.
I don't think there's enough vetting like before actually
Well,
putting it
Tony,
through.
let's move on
It's
to
so dumb.
let's move on to business news because we have more
Yeah.
lawsuits. A ROM site owner decided to fight Nintendo in court and lost 2.1 million. Do not feel too bad for this guy. This
No,
guy,
this is
he
not.
charged a paid subscription to his
Yeah,
site. He then decided to represent himself in court. Never
like a
represent
dumbass.
yourself in court. It is
No,
always a terrible move. And as a result of representing himself in court, he contradicted his own sworn statements. Something a lawyer would stop you from doing. So, usually I'm on the side of game preservation. I think it's dumb that there's not enough game preservation for
yeah,
Nintendo's
this is
old games.
yeah. I
But
understand like game preservation costs money and things, but I feel like this. I don't know. Even
this
before like the dumbass putting your
this was a clear-cut case of this guy was profiting off illegal game copies,
yeah.
which is why
Yeah, I don't like it.
which is just making it so much worse for the genuine people trying to
Yeah,
preserve these sort of games. Anyway,
it's just so. I wish Nintendo would just like
get a
go to
house.
legit people and just like go, yeah, like we'll create a system where we need your help, but we're gonna create a system that should preserve these games. So yeah, there's no digital preservation stuff at the moment, like across like anything, and it's absolute bullshit.
Anyway, next on business news, we have X People Can Fly dev forms a new studio, Grubby Entertainment. People Can Fly are known for their Painkiller game and Bulletstorm, and recently the team has worked on Outriders, but I guess if these are X People Can Fly, they probably didn't work on Outriders, so interesting to see what
Hang on,
these
just to
guys are going to come
confirm,
up with.
right? The dev is called People Can Fly, right?
These are ex people who used to work at People Can Fly, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm getting confused because this is like a non-noun version of a name which you're allowed to do. And it always confuses me. So the dev is called People Can't Fly, and these devs
People
that are no
can
longer
no,
working
no.
there, and
People
the ex devs for
people
People Can't Fly.
people can fly.
The studio isn't called X People Can Fly.
No, the studio is called People Can Fly. It's
It's just-
developers from People Can Fly.
Yeah, I'm just clarifying because it confuses me to hell. We have like these non-standard names.
Also on business, we have CD Projekt Red has appointed a new game director for Cyberpunk. CD Projekt Red is still trying to get Cyberpunk back on the PSN. I read that they weren't going to like release how much money that the Cyberpunk made because of the huge market they missed out on with the PlayStation Network removal. They didn't want to announce like their quarter report sort of thing.
Well, they didn't announce the full revenue, but they kind of, from what I've seen, they've announced enough for people to like reverse engineer a basic idea of how much they've recently earned the last quarter.
I don't know
it's very small.
I don't know how much you've kept up with like the bug fixing development of Cyberpunk, but do you think it's enough to be back on the PSN?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. It depends. Okay, if we're talking about like performance and like crashes, it might still be. I think there's still some really critical stuff there, and I'm a bit concerned there's not enough testing involved. But in that case, it might be enough.
I don't think he was fired. So this was him. So the former Cyberpunk game director Adam Badowski will focus on CD Projekt Red's 2.0 transition. This was more of a stepping down than or more like a being moved around sort of thing. I don't think he was kicked off. So if you don't know, CD Projekt Red's 2.0 transition is they're opening up a studio in I believe it's Canada, which I talked about before. So they will see the studio alter its strategy in order to develop multiple. This was the thing I was like, whoa, hold up. They're now saying that they want to be able to develop multiple AAA titles in parallel.
Yeah,
I was like, hold up. You just release Cyberpunk, maybe focus on one AAA title sort of thing. Anyway, next up we have a section that I've lovingly called Delays, Cancellations and Announcements.
Okay.
Skulls and Bones. Do you remember that Ubisoft pirate game?
A little bit, vaguely.
It's exclusively to Game Luster been announced that it has restarted development and will not launch in 2021. So they completely restarted development of the entire game, sort of thing.
Okay. So why did they release it?
I don't know. Everything's getting delayed.
Don't release stuff too early if you don't know if you.
BlizzCon 2021 has been cancelled. I thought maybe they might do an online thing, but they've just said no, we're not going to have an in-person event.
They do it normally in October, don't they?
Yeah, it's at the end
surely
of the year.
It'll be in America as well. Like, surely lockdowns will be lifted.
But they basically said they're going to plan a global event for early part of next year. They're like 2022.
So basically not pandemic related, but they've got no content to show.
Well, they're basically saying like they want to do more BlizzCon online stuff with smaller in-person gatherings sort of thing. There's still like COVID big thing. I don't know.
I think people kind of love this. I think they're misunderstanding. Okay, I'm not gonna.
Overwatch. They're going to announce some Overwatch 2 stuff. Everyone is on the edge of their seats for Overwatch 2, guys. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night sequel is in development, and also they announced it's coming to Stadia in a trailer. I was really confused. There was a Guerrilla Collective trailer announcements like yesterday, and I was watching it, and they were like, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is out. And I'm like, yeah, it's been out for like a year or so, hasn't it? And they're like, it's coming to fucking Stadia. And I was like, okay, I guess Stadia still exists.
Yep.
But it's officially been announced that there's going to be a sequel to this much-loved game. People really love the spiritual Castlevania successor game. So it's cool to see that like a small project made big and is actually able to make a sequel now. J.J. Abrams is still baiting people that there's going to be a Portal movie. He said the same thing for the past 10 years.
Yeah, there isn't, guys. I'm going to say that now.
So we're on to main news, Tony. 1.5 hours into the podcast.
Main news.
Basically, main news is all tech. We're going to talk about Unreal Engine 5 for a bit, and then we're going to talk about graphics cards that don't exist. Unreal Engine 5 is... I literally saying last podcast, Tony, I said, Man, I love that tech demo they showed off for Unreal Engine
Yeah,
5. I really
yep,
want I really want them to put Unreal Engine 5 into the hands of developers.
yep.
Literally a day or two afterwards, they announced Unreal Engine 5 early access. Everyone can now download the early access version of Unreal Engine 5 and start developing their games, their animated movies, anything they want to use Unreal Engine 4 for is now available, including Tony, the ability to play that tech demo where
Yeah.
you that
Can we
looks
just
like Tomb
expand
Raider.
that into a full game, please? That'd be great. Thank you.
I watched like the full technical video Epic put out, and it was pretty cool. Like they showed off this new like, what's his name? Is his name Mysterio from Spider-Man looking thing? Like they showed off like a new boss and how you can like
The bowl head guy.
how you can like do predict. You can like say I want an animation that moves on the fly, and that will predict how the animation will look. It will like calculate
Like yeah,
how.
like going from one position to another sort of
But
thing.
no,
It'll
it's even
like
better
try and
than that.
calculate.
Like you have a static animation of it targeting
Yep.
the enemy based on where the enemy is standing. But say like the player moves while he's doing that animation, it then has technology that will mean that that animation can then predict how that animation should look if the player moves and they have to move that animation to attack it. There's a really technical video about all of this Unreal Engine 5 stuff. It's really fucking cool. I
Yeah,
like the tech. I like Unreal
that
Engine.
is
I
pretty
think it's
cool.
cool technology. I
Yeah.
love to see more devs using this. Frost Giant Studios will use Unreal Engine 5 and is also part of a Dreamhaven and Epic Games. Basically, all of the ex Epic dev, all the ex Blizzard guys are all going to be using Unreal Engine 5. So all of the real Blizzard games will be coming out on Unreal Engine 5. And apparently Bioshock 4 seemingly is using the next generation Unreal Engine 5. All we know about Bioshock 4 is basically just job listings at the moment. There's no announcement
I
or
don't.
anything
How
about
does
that.
the job listing explain what engine they're using? Just like they need experts in
Because
Unreal.
they need someone who's to be able to work within Unreal Engine 5, adapting existing systems and building technology in
Okay.
order to fulfill the project's
Don't we
technical needs.
don't we also only know about Bioshock 4 from the job listing as well, though? Or is that also is that from a different source?
I believe it's also from a job listing, yeah.
Because like when I was looking for it, I found it really difficult to find any other information. Like, or it was like, oh, from the job listing, we know this. I'm like,
Guy, it's this
okay,
this is not an announcement that Bioshock 4 is coming out, but
no,
it's an announcement that the guys behind Bioshock are working on an unreleased Unreal Engine 5
yeah,
project.
that's what I was getting. That's what I could only information I could find was that.
So
Yeah,
Tony, next up on tech news, we have Marvel or Marvel, not the Spider-Man Disney conglomerate, has announced the first PCIe 5.0 NVMe SSD controller up to 14 gigabytes per second.
so
Holy
this will be for
guacamole!
servers first, right?
Guys, if you thought PCI 4.0 was already bottlenecked, well, I guess you got to keep waiting for tech to catch up because we've got a brand new bottleneck for your system. PCIe 5.0 NVMe's.
What? But aren't servers on PCI 6 though?
What?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to go more into depth into what the hell you're talking about.
Well, it's more bandwidth, more speeds, more data.
PCIe 6.0? I haven't even heard of this.
What I'm saying, like the specs we get for like consumer stuff is like just like down from enterprise levels.
I'm reading a post saying PCI Express 6.0 with 250 gigabytes per second could be coming in 2022, but I can't find anything else about PCIe Express 6.0.
Maybe on PCI 5 and then servers. Then I don't know what the current state. I'm not a server guy, so
Mm. Yeah, but basically at the moment um, PCIe NVMe's will be used for servers basically, like the 5.0 ones. Like for basically my PC right now, PCIe 3.0 is bottlenecked. Like let alone PCIe
yeah,
4.0. Like
yeah.
until we get stuff like DirectX storage, where we're gonna need like high speed NVMe drives, like
But I reckon these
with
controllers are going to be for server stuff first, like
yeah yeah.
before the average user.
Anyway, we had we're going on to Nvidia news. Nvidia Keynote recently. Nvidia announced the GeForce RTX 3080 Ti at $1,200 and the RTX 3070 Ti at $600. I think people were pretty pissed off about this, so let's just dive into the RTX 3080 Ti. With the RTX 3080 Ti, it's a $500 increase over the RTX 3080, offering 18% more cores and 20% more money. But at the MSRP of this card, we're going to talk about MSRP because I can't talk about scalping prices. At the MSRP of this card, it's a 71% price increase over the 3080 for less than 10% performance. That is fucking awful. That is a terrible buy. And people are going to buy it. And then they're going to scalp it.
But it makes me think though, why... So that means the 3090 is equivalently, or even worse than a price.
Yeah, the 3090s are fucking... literally,
so like they made a card
Gamers Nexus...
cheaper.
Nobody needs the 3090.
Yeah.
Nobody needs the 3080 Ti. Nobody needs the RTX 6800
or something.
XT,
I don't fucking know. It's such a It's just so overpriced for what it is. Like it's not even like it's.
What is it?
It's not needed for gaming.
The 6900. Nobody needs that card.
It's only good for benchmarking, as far as I can tell. It just seems ludicrous.
Like if you need a 24 GB VRAM bus, like I get it if you're like a 3D modeler or like a video editor or whatever. There are legit uses for a 3090.
For sure, yeah.
Gamers do not need 3080 Ti's and they don't need 3090s. We need fucking 3070s. Like we need 3060 Ti's. Like
how much did the 3080 Ti MSRP? Like $1,400, wasn't it? In the end,
the 3080 Ti is $1,200. The 3080 Ti.
Was it not $1,299?
No, $1,199.
Okay, right. So it's
because the 3080, Tony. I don't want to blow your mind, but I believe it was released at a $700 MSRP.
Yes, it did the same as the 2080. But I was checking the 2080 versus the 2080 Ti, just like get a comparison. It's like
you were checking the 2080. You were checking the 38. You were checking the 2080 Super versus.
No. I rechecked the 2080 itself. Okay. So which I have the 2080. Right. You have the 2080 Super, I believe. So yeah, it was a 42% increase in price at launch MSRP with a 15% increase in performance, which is way better than 71% increase at only a 10% performance increase.
Pretty much,
and it's only $1,000.
So basically, the card's MSRP, everyone expected to come out $200 cheaper on the MSRP.
Yep.
And then when people saw the price come out, they're like, what the fuck? And basically, it was higher than it was going to be because Nvidia knew they could become the middleman in the scalping market. They could charge a higher MSRP, get more money, people would buy the card, and they would sell it on, scalp it for even more. They knew that the current market was fucked, and they're taking advantage of it.
I don't understand why they couldn't just make more. I don't know enough about how you can how the ordering of chips and things from TSMC is, or any other manufacturers which are also got supply chain issues. I don't know if it's this easy, but I think a lot of people would rather just made more 3060 Ti's and just flood the market with that.
The best-selling graphics card at the moment for Nvidia of this generation was the 3070. People want the mid-range card.
Yeah.
The 3070 is a mid-range card now.
3060 to 3070, I just want to flood the market with that alone and just keep making more of those to get rid of the supply issue. That's all I really want.
Yeah. But yeah, it's basically what they did was they took 3090 bins that weren't, or 3090 bins that were too bad to be a 3090, but were too good to put into a 3080, and then they're making a 3080 Ti so they could. Essentially, what they kind of said they were doing were, because it's only a 12 gigabyte VRAM bus, was that they could make more 3080 Ti's instead of making a card that people already didn't want. But they're also
because
because it basically half the VRAMs. You can make more 3080 Ti's than you can make 3090s, but the 3090 is already a terrible purchase, and the 3080 Ti is another terrible purchase.
So basically, what you're saying is they split VRAM. This is VRAM only talking about, but like they split the half the VRAMs they can make in terms of VRAM,
like,
double the amount of a card that no one wanted before, and also still the new card no one wants.
Well, it's because like the GDDR6X memory is really fucking expensive and also really fucking hot as well because the 3090 card literally had like I think it had
put it on the back.
Yeah, it had some of the memory on the back.
But that's because they had so much of it.
Yeah, but it seems like but they have the 3080 cooler on this.
Yep. But doesn't the 3080 use GDDR6X as well, though?
Basically all of the 3080 Ti cards, basically all the 30 series cards are using the GDDR6X.
No, I thought 70 didn't.
No, I'm fairly sure the 70 does as well.
Does it?
Yeah, I believe it does. Let me check for you. Let me have a look. 3070 specs. Let's look this up so we don't give out misinformation. All the information's like on
the 3070 gets DDR6.
Is it 6X?
What? Hang on, this is like a really confusing sentence.
If I type in 3070 specs, it comes up with information about 3070 Ti.
Oh, okay. Hang on. It should be in the full specs, but
sorry. Yeah, so the 3070 came with GDR6, whereas the 3070 Ti is coming with GDDR6X, which is the faster memory.
The memory checking one as well.
AMD's solution to get around this, because they don't have access to the GDDR6X, was with the Infinity cache. I think it's like 128. I don't want to say numbers.
Well, they use the similar technology that they use for their CPUs, right?
So it's allowing them to create a cache that allows them to keep up with the faster X memory sort of thing. But you're right, yeah. So
I understand that the DDRX also is like a memory checking version as well because it's like so fast.
So the RTX 3080 Ti came out on June 3rd. If you are lucky enough to get one, congratulations. Let's move on to the RTX 3070 Ti because we don't know as much about that because that's not officially come out yet. But it's going to have... So the memory capacity remains the same as the 3070. So it's still 8 gigabytes, but it is the X version, which should give it a slight boost. And according to Nvidia's benchmarks, it seems to be slightly faster. I'd rather wait for third-party ones.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's more I don't know. It should be a more worthwhile card, but yeah, we'll have to see. Like the bang for the buck has to the price performance does matter, like, especially when you're like putting it in between two other products. Like it really does matter.
They're claiming maybe like a
competitive card.
They're claiming maybe like a 10% boost. It seems like from this graph.
But what's the price increase? Do we know the pricing yet?
$600 compared.
Okay.
3070 MSRP. So the 3070 was $500, and the TI is $600. So it's $100 increase for a 10% increase in price.
Much more reasonable.
Rather than a $500 increase.
Yeah,
for
that's
10%
insane.
Increase. According to Nvidia, these are not third-party benchmarks. So we'll have to see what the actual performance increase is.
They're normally not too far off. Like their own benchmarks seem to be pretty similar to third party.
So,
obviously, it's also more complicated per load as well. But
the 3070 Ti seems a lot better deal than the 3080 Ti. If this graphic card existed, if you get your hands on this,
I'm curious to know
coming out June 10th.
How much worse the 3070 Ti versus the 3080? That will be really important, I think.
Yeah, I think once we see the benchmarks, we can talk about this again, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too in depth into it until like.
No, we're just waiting for the actual information at this point. So.
We also had some RTX and DLSS announcements, and here's one I have been waiting for. I'm sorry, Tony, I have to verify my age because I'm not old enough to watch a Doom Eternal video, according to
I'll
YouTube.
try and watch it. I don't think I need to verify my age.
I didn't.
No, I'm old enough.
I literally watched this video, and now it's asking me to verify it. Hang on, I'm going to refresh it. I'm old enough, Tony. I'm old enough now. I can
You're old
watch it.
enough.
Right. So for the longest time, I bought. You remember I bought Doom Eternal on sale, and I played through it. And I was talking about. I was like, I remember them saying it was going to get DLSS and ray tracing. Like,
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, it's been like over a year now. Where is it? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was because I assumed it already had it, sort of thing when I got it because it was like a year later that I bought it. But no, they've just added it now. It showed off in the Nvidia event. So basically, they showed off the ray tracing. You can notice it a lot in the reflections. There is way more reflections, and of course, the reflections have that a very good RTX tracking sort of thing.
The light as well, like light from light effects and things like have more of
You can definitely see it in
more
this.
effect in the scene.
You can definitely see it in this scene where you have like the reflection of the soldier on the floor compared to not having it. People were saying, lots of people are saying like, I wish it was like, more like the Exodus stuff where they did like the global illumination ray tracing sort of thing. But obviously that stuff takes a lot more like time, and maybe you have to
enormous
design it from the time up, from the bottom up sort of thing.
Makes what they did with Metro like more impressive, really. Well, it shows how impressive what they did actually was, really.
And this is getting RTX plus DLSS. They did not show the DLSS at all in the trailer. They only showed it with ray tracing.
It's already got ridiculous frame rates.
Yeah, but from all of the sources I could find. Also, I love the meme that he's actually using the microwave beam that nobody uses.
Yeah, but it's got comparables.
Yeah, but it's like nobody uses the microwave beam in the base game until you play the DLC where they force you to kill one really annoying enemy with the microwave beam.
Right.
But he's just using it on normal enemies, and I'm like, that's such a waste of plasma ammo. But like, obviously, this guy is actually like a very good player. Like he's because sometimes they show like
showing off stuff that's not gameplay. So
usually when they're showing off gameplay, they might not show like as Hugo Martin would say, a black belt player, as he calls like the pros of like Doom Eternal. But he's using like the quick weapon switching method where you can stun lock people, like switching between the ballista or it's the ballista, right? It was the Gauss cannon in 2016, and the super shotgun, which is a very like it's like one of the more high skill combos you can start to do when you become like a very good Doom Eternal player. I love this game. There is so much like skill cap in Doom Eternal, and you get so much better with the game as you play on. And it's so good. I am going to play it with ray tracing again. I love Doom Eternal. One of my games, 2020, guys. Definitely check this one out if you haven't, or if you were a fan of. If you're a fan of 2016, I know some people didn't enjoy this one as much. 2016, I think it fucking massively improves on everything about 2016, in my opinion. So definitely check this one out. It's like 2016, but like bigger, better, and improved. So.
Yeah, anyway. There are differences that I can understand why people might prefer 2016.
Yeah, obviously.
I think it's up to
Tony, I didn't know this game existed until now, but Lego... Oh, sorry, no, I can't talk about Lego. Also, I saw this mod here where someone's modded Doom Eternal 2016. So, basically what happens in Eternal and 2016, it's really aggressive with ragdolls. After you kill something, the ragdolls pretty much disappear immediately. But they've made this mod now called Keep the Dead. So after you have this massive like bloody scene where you kill loads of people, you can keep all like the corpses there to have a look at the carnage afterwards.
Reminds me of a Skyrim mod that I've seen. It does. I will say it does make things way more visceral. It is really cool to like keep dead bodies.
So people, because like the guys, I watched the video where he's talking about the mod. And he's like, I assumed they got rid of like the bodies because it like massively impacted performance, but he was like, it had like a negligible impact. It like didn't impact performance at all to keep all the corpses on screen. This is my opinion. I think it was a clarity thing. I think they made the bodies disappear so quickly because
you know who's attacking you and who isn't.
Yeah, like Doom Eternal,
Yeah.
Doom Eternal,
I don't know. Like,
like is very good for like using
would
colors
that
and
not
UI to
been
like let you know exactly where enemies are and like what abilities
that
you
would
have
have
up and
been
stuff.
that would have been a cool visual slash difficulty modifier. That like, oh, do you want to keep their body to make it harder to see like where people
Hmm.
are attacking you from though?
But now you
I don't know.
can't. Now you can with mods. It's
Now
like
you can.
I know Hugo Martin's
It
talked
does look
about
better.
like I don't know if I would play with this mod. I kind of prefer like being more cleaner for clarity sort of thing. I know Hugo Martin's talked about like he's seen a lot of the Doom mods and he likes them. I would like to see like official modding support for Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
That would be cool to see.
If okay, here's a question for you though. Like, what if like I feel like you'd have to like change how the dead bodies work, but like you could make them like more desaturated or something, so like they're really obvious that they're
Lower
dead and
LODs.
not.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sort of, but like no, but like it's not exactly the same color as like the living enemy. Like it like very obviously like it's decayed to
Oh
a
right,
point.
yeah.
Like the actual model looks completely different, but like it's obviously not part of a living being at this point. And it doesn't like confuse the brain.
Hmm. Yeah, that could be a good idea. That is a good suggestion. Tony,
It's
I don't
worth
know if I don't know
investigating.
if you saw this game, but I literally saw it based on I think it was maybe announced with the Nvidia
Well,
ray tracing.
this is when you showed
Lego
me.
ray
Yeah,
tracing.
yeah. This is when you showed me, and I thought they're really cool.
I
Yeah,
think this looks fucking
it
fantastic. The
looks.
Lego looks almost photorealistic a lot of the time, which I think is
Yeah,
really cool to see. Like like a building puzzle game where you have like these gorgeous. I gotta say, like I love ray tracing, but like this game just makes it look gorgeous, sort of
yeah.
thing.
You have to. Yeah. Here's the thing about like ray tracing. Like at the moment, a lot of big games are kind of like using the old ways of making games with ray tracing, so you can't really.
Hmm.
If you make it from the ground up, you can do some really cool stuff with ray tracing. You just can't. Maybe
Oh,
not. You can't do, but it's very hard to do with the
oh,
old way we used to
by the way,
illuminate stuff.
maybe put timestamps. I've split up the announcements of our games that are getting RTX plus DLSS. So these are all the games that are getting RTX plus DLSS. All the games that are getting just DLSS,
Right.
and then all the games that are just getting ray tracing. So Lego Build Journey is getting RTX and DLSS. This game looks really cool. I'll be interested to play that. Dying 1983 is getting ray tracing and deep learning super sampling as well. This seems like an Asian like horror game. I've never heard of the series personally, but the ray tracing on like the shadows in the cans looks really fucking cool. So definitely a good looking game thanks to this technology.
Yeah,
Next up, we
actually, yeah.
have games that are getting just DLSS. So we have um, Red Dead Redemption 2 got announced to have added DLSS, so the game already looks pretty good, and now it's going to run a whole lot better with the DLSS update, similar to the one that No Man's Sky is getting, just getting the better performance, anti-aliasing sort of thing.
Hmm.
And then the next section we have is games that are just getting RTX. So we have Icarus. If you don't remember Icarus, it's that Dean Hall game, the guy who made DayZ. He's like,
Yeah.
we talked about a trailer. I feel like on the previous E3, he had. Was this the one where you had like a limited amount of time to go to a spaceship?
Was that what that was?
But this is doing the Metro thing where it's doing ray traced global illumination. It looks fucking
Yeah.
fantastic. I love it when they
Yeah.
do this sort of thing.
That's something that looks completely different to any of our previous ways of doing lighting, in my opinion. Like it really looks great.
So hopefully this is a good game. This game does look pretty interesting. I'm still a little. Anytime Dean Hall's like, I'm gonna make a survival game, I'm like, I'm not sure. I played DayZ, so we'll have to see how like
Yeah.
you kind of abandon that
Dean,
product.
get someone else to do the UI, please. Stop doing UI yourself. That's all I'm gonna say.
So yeah, from what I could tell, that this didn't come with DLSS. But yeah, those are all the games. They also announced that now there's officially 130 titles now have adopted either ray tracing, DLSS, or both. So, do you remember when people were like, "Our ray tracing is a dumb technology. Only 5 games
Yep.
support it." Now
Yep.
we have 130. So there is like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're lucky enough, and I'm sorry guys about the current state, if you're lucky enough to have a 2000 series card or a 3000 series cards, or even lucky enough to have a Radeon card, a
Yeah.
6000 card.
That was a Papyrus launch, I think. So
If you're lucky enough to have Radeon card, you can experience ray tracing, but you can't experience DLSS. But hold on to your hats, guys,
I'm holding on.
because Nvidia DLSS is coming to Proton. I have to announce this before I announce the the AMD news.
This is kind of weird, isn't it? Like,
So this is actually
Proton.
interesting because this is a collaboration between Nvidia, Valve, and the Linux gaming community. Currently, Deep Learning Supersonic is already in the Nvidia Linux driver, but it doesn't work with Proton right now. But that's about to change. So you'll be able to use the dedicated AI cores on your GTX RTX GPUs to boost frame rates for their favorite Windows games running on the Linux operating system. Nvidia said support for Vulkan games is coming this month, with DirectX titles coming in the fall.
It's so interesting that like we're getting
Another
developers
W
supporting
for Linux
again. Yeah, it's really cool.
I
think more people like Linux is like really big right now. Like not compared to Windows, admittedly, but like it's getting bigger.
The 10 people using Linux ray tracing.
No, it's more like
Congratulations.
10,000 people now.
You think there's 10,000 people using Linux ray tracing?
Yeah, I reckon there might be.
Linux ray tracing.
Yes.
Listen to I'm not talking about Linux games.
I know. Yep.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree with that statement. If you look at like the user base of Linux, even just Linux gamers on Steam, it's a very small split. But it's cool.
That's true.
I think Linux is a cool technology. I'm happy that they're pushing it. I think the reason other developers are pushing it is because Valve. I think Valve is a big push, specifically because we have an unreleased Valve console coming out that is probably going to be running on their version of Linux, the Steam OS, which is why they are making the big push. Finally, we have AMD, and then we'll end the podcast. So, guys, your Radeon 6000, your Radeon AMD cards, they don't have access to DLSS. Guys, your GTX 10 series cards don't have access to DLSS. AMD have announced Super Fidelity Resolution, SFR. So for the longest time, we said there was no DLSS competitor from AMD. They had the SFR thing, but it really wasn't. They did not want it compared to DLSS at all for the longest time. So it's going to launch June 22nd. It's supported by Radeon and GeForce GPUs. It's going to have 4 quality presets, similar to how DLSS works. So there will be a ultra quality mode, a quality mode, a balance mode, and a performance mode. They only showed off different parts of a scene with these different modes on. There's been no unofficial benchmarks for these yet, so I'm really going to wait until
I want to see this.
We see third-party benchmarks with this technology, because they said so they showed off the game Godfall using this SFR. With native 4K resolution, we got 49 FPS, ultra quality 78 FPS, quality mode 99 FPS, 124 FPS in the balance mode, and 150 FPS on the performance mode. They then had Lisa Su on stage, in which she brought a 1660 up, and she showed a 1440p Godfall benchmark with FSR turned off, getting 27% FPS, and with it on, getting 38 FPS on. That's a power move, as I quote Steve from Gaven's Nexus.
Yeah.
That's what you call a power move, is you bring up your competitor's GPU and you say, hey, we can get a upscaling technology working on your cards. Why can't you on your older cards?
Yeah, that's a big brand. It's gonna help the stocks, I think.
Again, guys, based on what they showed, obviously we can't account for the streaming compression, but looking at it running on the older technology, it looked pretty rough, especially in motion. I really want to see the benchmarks.
Is this going to be equivalent to DLSS 1.0? Do you think? And,
we have a article from AndTech here. AND here. So SFR versus DLSS 2.0. So in their pre-briefing at AMD, AnandTech said the company did confirm that FSR is going to be a purely spatial upscaling technology. It will operate on a frame-by-frame basis without taking into account motion data, motion vectors from the game itself. So for GPUs junkies, you may recognize this similar strategy to how Nvidia designed DLSS 1.0. So it seems like FSR is going to be a lot similar to how DLSS 1.0 worked, which definitely gave you a good FPS uptick, but definitely did had some artifacting issues, some issues when it came to the upscaling sort of thing.
Yeah. I remember DLSS 1.0, like the one that people always bring up, and it's like in Control, there's like
Control,
an
yeah.
air grate, and it's like really, really bad looking in DLSS 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Final Fantasy 15 had really bad DLSS, like fences weren't
So
rendering at all very well.
DLSS 1.0 was about spatial upscaling of using
Yeah.
pre-trained game-specific neural network models. So basically, the developers had to train DLSS 1.0 to work with their specific game. So
Yeah, then they have to like give it to Nvidia as well, like to put it onto their supercomputer, even like get any sort of
so
usable
the way
data from it.
SFR works at the moment, it's going to be obviously it's going to be game by game basis, but to a point where
Yeah.
developers are going to have to put in a lot of their own development work to try and get it running on their games, compared to how DLSS 2.0 can use the AI technology to get it running a lot easier and smoother, especially with the DirectX 12 direct integration, especially through stuff like the Unreal Engine integration as well. So DLSS 1.0 was ultimately a failure, writes an Unticked. It couldn't consistently provide acceptable results, and temporal artifacting was too common. It wasn't until Nvidia introduced DLSS 2.0, a significant expanded version of technology that integrated motion vector data, essentially creating temporal AA on steroids, that finally got DLSS as we know it working order.
Which is fantastic if you've never used it, by the way. It's hardly noticeable. It's kind of insane.
So they've said they can get 2 times better performance on FSR, 4 quality presets. 10 game studios and engines are working on this. I would love to see the split between games and engines, because if they could get this running on Unity or Unreal Engine, that's going to be huge for them. They say it's going to support over 100 GPUs and CPUs, because I believe this is going to be supported on the new APUs as well, which we'll talk about in a second. Because my speculation is basically both the new consoles, the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5, are both running on the RDNA technology, but essentially a version of the Radeon 6000 GPUs.
But made for their...
So the big user base for FSR would be the consoles, who at the moment I believe PlayStation mostly uses what's called checkerboarding, which is the technology to basically upscale parts of the image like a checkerboard in order to get up to that 1440p and 4K resolution that they're pushing for, even on like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox X. I believe it's the Xbox naming scheme's very confusing, but yeah. But anyway, that was my speculation. Was consoles are going to be adopting this technology, and we have an official confirmation, I believe this was yesterday or the day before, that the Xbox Series X and S will support Fidelity FX Super Resolution. I don't believe we have a confirmation from PlayStation yet, but seeing it running on the Resident Evil 8 on the PS5, I believe it may be a shoo-in. They may want to announce this technology at E3 at the PlayStation event. We'll have to see. We also got, so the other big thing we got announcement was the Ryzen's APUs. So
yeah, I thought this was really interesting. Like it's like
the Ryzen 7 5700G and the 5600G.
Paper slightly less performance than the X version, but with
integrated Vega graphics.
Yeah, which should be
Vega
decent.
Vega 8 integrated graphics.
And
Vega's like
cards...
Vega's.
Wait, what?
I mean, like, if they could get it more closer to like Radeon, like.
Yeah, I guess, but it's still better. Okay, but maybe not great for like I mean. it's better if you can't even get a graphics card, I guess. But like, but
Mm.
for me, someone with the graphics card, I'm like, oh, this would be great if the graphics card is like doing something funny and I need to plug into the motherboard directly. That'd be
Because
really useful.
I think like Vega is still not great compared to where XE is at. XE kind of has the
No,
edge
yeah,
from Intel at the
Intel.
moment.
Well, doesn't almost every Intel CPU have like some sort of integrated
Yeah, they have
graphics,
like the
which
architectural
is
advantage of
insane.
the integrated graphics and all their stuff. But basically, the 5700G and the 5600G are going to be Zen 3 CPUs with the APU graphics technology. These are going to be launching August 5th. And basically, so you know the naming scheme, the G stands for graphics. So the
Yeah,
5600X is just a CPU, and then the 5600G is basically a slightly lower spec 5600X, but with inbuilt graphics if you're struggling to get a graphics card, sort of thing.
yeah, which is really cool.
The big
They're
advantage
probably prior off the
Intel
shelves though.
the big advantage Intel actually has is not only do all of their stuff have the XE integrated graphics, but they also manufacture all their own stuff. They don't need
Yeah,
like TSMC to manufacture,
they're another
um,
supplier to like help the supply chain
mhm.
or help out the
Which
supply
is
issue.
why you can pretty much get your hands on a lot of like Intel 10th gen CPUs. There's not a huge
Well,
like shortage of those.
it helps that no one wants them either.
Well, because I think Steam for Games Nexus was saying like I haven't looked into 11th gen Intel CPUs, but like why wouldn't you just get 10 gen? Like there's not a lot of point in getting 11 gen.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's finish up our AMD news and then we'll finish up the podcast. Radeon 6000 GPUs are mobile GPUs are coming to laptops. So we've seen like the big laptops with the Ryzen CPUs and the Nvidia graphics cards, but we're also going to be able to get our hands on Radeon 6000 laptops, and they're also going to be doing a thing called AMD like certification where they're
Yeah,
going to like certify certain laptops that have
like
like
minimum spec required sort of
yeah
thing to
minimum
get the
spec
certification.
requirements, and then they'll have like a Radeon graphics card and CPU in them, and then
Yeah,
it's going to be like a soft specification where they don't put too much emphasis on it, but they still will have certain
yeah. To
requirements to get
me,
the specification.
yeah, it's good enough for me. I think I would just call it a certification to be honest. Like it's not certifying like the exact performance, but it's like yeah, you're gonna get at least this. I'm like okay, that's really cool. Um, I'm
Hmm.
kind of interested in laptops, so I kind of this was pretty cool. Well, I'm not planning on replacing my laptop anytime soon. So
So we've got the 6800M, which has 12 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, which apparently can hit 120 FPS, and promising performance games against the RTX 2070. We also have the so that's apparently going to be against the RTX 3070 card. I haven't looked too much. I haven't looked too much into this because I honestly I'm not a big laptop guy, so I
yeah, I will say this like yeah, laptop graphics cards are
they're a different SKU. Like they're very different compared to the
yeah.
actual non-mobile version.
Both Linus and Jay's 2 cents thinks they're kind of misnamed and they should really be like a direct comparison to the desktop versions, and I do kind of agree with that. And there's like very important like how much power it actually gets. Like that's also very important, and like how much cooling it gets, which the AMD specificate or verification source system helps with that. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's very weird at the moment when it comes to laptop
So I think
graphics.
the 3006 the 6700M's also supposed to the 6700 is supposed to go against the 3070. The 6800 is supposed to go against the 3080, and then the 6600 is supposed to go against the 3060. So
Yeah,
the number scheming kind of lines up, sort of thing. That's the idea of this where the SKU is supposed to be, but
I
Where they
bet it won't though.
where they actually line up, we'll have to
Yeah,
wait and see.
that they try and basically laptop OEMs are kind of assholes, and they just want like bigger numbers to try and advertise themselves. They really break a lot of systems because of that, and
The
I
big
have a funny feeling they're gonna break this as well.
the big one more thing that was in the AMD keynote unveiling thing was the brand new 3D stack technology. This is kind of technical,
Yeah,
but if you don't know, they've made this 3D stacking technology for future CPUs,
well,
which
the
will feature.
chiplets at the moment on a
Yeah,
2D plane, right?
but basically you can 3D stack chiplets which feature more density and power efficiency on this
Yeah.
new experimental CPU. And basically, I think, what did they show it against? They showed that this prototype was able to get a 15% gain against a Ryzen 9 5900X. So
Surely,
already, like, this prototype CPU has been impressive.
surely the big problem with this is kind of like getting the heat out of the 3D stack. But like, I wonder what they're doing to like solve that issue.
Yeah, but because of the stacking, it increases power efficiency, which will also
Yeah,
power efficiency also improves heat, which is
that's true. But they're still getting heat trapped underneath the layer, though.
I honestly could
So
not.
I'm curious to know how they've. I don't think they went into technical details enough to be able to know what they're doing there. But I'm curious to know how they'll do that in the future. But yeah, that's I think really exciting for like chips or CPUs in the future.
Well, they're saying like
Oh,
Zen 4 could be already be
yeah.
like way better than Zen 3, and it seems like if they can bring this,
But if like older Lake from like Intel is gonna like bring DDR5, I assume the next AMD chip is also gonna have
they
to
say they
do
could bring a
DDR5.
15% gaming improvement. They're saying that they're going to bring the 192 megabytes of an L3 cache to this prototype as well, which looks
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
they massively increased the cache, didn't they? Yeah, that's really interesting.
So that's pretty cool. Oh, and Intel news, Tony. I thought I'd put a tiny piece of Intel news because Intel has nothing to announce usually.
Is this like it's like fake Intel news almost?
Intel said they were interested in added SFR to the upcoming Intel graphics card that I said probably won't exist until like 2022 or 2023 or something.
They don't have a release date for it, do they?
All we
So
know is that Intel's apparently working on a GPU that will feature ray tracing and maybe SFR. That's what we know about it so far. It's going to be the upcoming XE HPG series because they have the
yeah,
XE graphics for their
yep,
integrated graphics, but their dedicated graphics will be called XE HPG.
yep.
So
Rolls
there's
off the tongue.
Intel have just fallen so how the mighty have fallen behind AMD.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
to be fair, AMD not needing to like focus on their own manufacturing of chips kind of helps offload some of that to like other companies.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
And Tony, Peter Molydeux is back. Praise Peter
He's
Molydeux.
back.
We've got a tweet here. I think he did 2 tweets and I've picked one, so we'll save the next one in case he stops tweeting
Yeah,
again.
we're gonna need to do that now.
Imagine a game where you play as a cuckoo in a cuckoo clock. To avoid suspicion, you must cuckoo every hour, but between every hour, you must escape the clock, secretly rebuilding your owner's relationship with his family. I could see this as a Joseph Fares game.
Yeah.
This seems, or like even a David Cage game. I could see this as a Pete Molyneux game. This sounds great. I want to play this game.
Yeah. Etymology coming up with great game ideas. Yeah, go.
Guys, check us out. That's the end of the podcast. Check us out and everything in between podcast on YouTube. Type in Pete Molyneux's name. It's the easiest way to find us. Twitch.tv/Scorn if you want to watch live, and at Scorn2000 where I will forget to tweet things. I might retweet random gaming stuff. And
Bingo cards.
We'll
do that for
I will try and tweet bingo cards pre E3. Well, we'll go through all of the major E3 conferences. I don't know. Maybe we'll even. I'm not promising anything, but maybe we could try and live stream our reaction to the conferences if they allow co-streaming. I will check that out before because I know if you try and co-stream big events and it's not allowed, you can get banned. So we will not be live doing that if it is not allowed. So yeah, check us out. We'll be back next week where the podcast will be even longer than 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yep.
Because we'll have to talk about all the E3 trailer news. Goodbye.
Bye.